uwager.lv, sportsbook, and casino. Sign up today at uwager.lv, the premier online sportsbook, taking wagers since 1998. The most player-friendly lines, weekly juice specials, and a true dime line in MLB. Unique casino platforms with thousands of games. Play poker, high stakes, low stakes, or tournament play. uwager.lv, what we offer. Free same-day payouts. Customer service and wagering support, 24/7, year-round. Free monthly rebates on your action and daily casino rebates. Contests, free bets, best bonuses, and giveaways. Generous referral program. Get an 80% free play bonus on your first deposit, up to $1,000. Sign up today, and use promo code SPORTSWEB. Remember, you can't win if you don't play.
Are you an athlete or professional struggling with life or career transition? Life isn't always easy, but hope is always present. Best Hope Counseling will help you move forward. For nearly a decade, licensed marriage and family therapist Larry Baumgartner has helped clients empower change and discover solutions using a solution-focused therapy approach. Conversations will focus on what you desire to change, not just the problems that brought you into counseling. From anger to depression or other emotions, Best Hope Counseling is there for you. Contact Larry personally on his direct line at 727-946-1346. Again, 727-946-1346 for a telehealth appointment in Florida and Minnesota, or in person an appointment in Minnesota. Take time out and begin your game plan to reconnect, rebuild, and restore happiness in your life. BestHopeCounseling.com. on, guys? Welcome back to another edition of the evolution of Sports Talk Television. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. How do we start off this show? As we always do here on a Monday, Wednesday night. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. On tonight's show, we'll have the legend himself, Mr. Leo Haggerty, former Coach Scout and now media member of Night Sports Productions and Amped Up Sports. His friend, Ken Podleak, also covering Philadelphia sports somewhat there for Night Sports Productions. At 9:30, we will have Best Hope Counseling, Larry Baumgartner here, counselor, one of the newest sponsors here on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. At 9:40, we will have former NBA player of the New York Knicks, the San Antonio Spurs, and the Chicago Bulls, Trent Tucker on. At 10 o'clock, we will have Tampa Bay, Ray Kennedy, Best of the Bay. And then at 10:20, Turnbuckle Talk with Mr. Mark Mancini, former XPW announcer, and of course, the bodyguard of the Berg, Pittsburgh's newest radio personality, Ralph Williams. You got all that? Open phone lines if you want to get through and talk about your Tampa Bay Rays. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. The other number, 727-409-7528. Again, 727-409-7528. I know there's a lot of Rays fans out there that are upset. The Rays have lost 4 in a row. They are no longer just in first place. In fact, by percentage points, the Baltimore Orioles are in first place.
Shitter!
And it just is so interesting right now. It's very simple, right? It comes down to numbers. I'm a numbers guy. I'm a stats guy. That's what I do here on the Sports Web. Here's some numbers for you. 8-33 when the Rays score 3 runs or less. And ever since they started out 29-7, according to Bob Nightingale, they're 31-32. But let's not all freak out here at the same time, okay? Because they do have the Baltimore Orioles coming up tomorrow at Tropicana for a 4-game set. So with that being said, I asked for phone calls. I get phone calls. We'll get out to a guest in a moment. The tribal troll, Mr. Roger Shue.
Acknowledge me.
Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. Be careful here, my friend. If you troll me too bad tonight, I may just hang up on you. Just joking. Welcome to the Sports Web. What's up, bud?
Don't acknowledge me. Acknowledge the Greek. Where the hell is Harry?
Well, Harry is working right now. He's got a new job, so congratulations to him.
Congratulations, Harry.
And that's called
the Greek guys still love you. We miss you.
That's called priorities at the end of the day. So what do you want?
That was all I wondered, man. Where's the Greek at? He hasn't been on in I don't know, a month.
I'm sorry, it happens. The Sports Web continues to keep on going and going and going. Well, I'm like the Energizer Bunny here.
It sounds like you got a stacked show, man. This is going to be fun.
All right, man.
I guess your boy Coach Troy went, I guess he's a pewter report or something.
I have no idea where he's at. Appreciate the call, Roger. We got to get going here.
All right, man.
See ya. Going back to it. If you want to talk about the Tampa Bay Rays tonight, we can. If you want to bitch and moan, you can. I threw this trade out there, and I'm going to ask everybody tonight about it, what you think about it, because it was a trade that was put out there by ESPN. I didn't make this stuff up. Let me put that out there. It's a disclaimer. I don't make stuff up. I actually kind of, go on the internet, look for things to talk about on the show. It's not just all off the top of my head. But this is from ESPN, the proposed trade, Shohei Ohtani to the Tampa Bay Rays. Before you lose your mind here and you just blow a gasket saying it's not going to happen, of course, more than likely, it's going to be a rental. The proposed deal would be Shane Bass, second baseman, third baseman, Curtis Mead, first baseman, Xavier Isaac, and, of course, right-handed pitcher, Marcus Johnson. Are you making a deal? 727-255-0391. 0391. It's 727-255-0391. The other number, 727-409-7528. Again, 727-409-7528. Of course, we will talk about your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Less than a week. Rookies report. You have training camp next week. I know you're fired up. We'll talk about Levante David's comments if you want to. Baker Mayfield. Anything that's on your mind, Bucs related. And then, of course, we got Trent Tucker, a former NBA basketball player. So we may talk some NBA basketball tonight. We got everything for you. Just sit back and enjoy the show. With that being said, let's go ahead and get on my guest. Here we go. Former Coach Scout and now media member of Night Sports Productions and Amped Up Sports, along with his special guest host there, Mr. Ken Podleak of Night Sports Productions, Leo Haggerty. Welcome to the evolution of sports talk television as we'll go full screen there. Guys, how are you guys doing tonight? Welcome.
Oh, we're doing fine here. I'm at the Jersey Shore.
Jersey
Peter.
Shore. Yes.
Peter, when do we talk about the Yankees on this show?
Well, you listen, we can talk about the Yankees, and there was a Yankee fan today saying 27 championships, and then I said to that Yankee fan, why are you talking to me? Because you're in last place this year.
This guy sucks. Terrible. Hey, Peter, I got a question.
Yes, go ahead.
How did you get Trent Tucker on the show?
From our new sponsor, actually. Larry is the one that reached out to him. And, of course, he's doing radio for K-Fan there. So we're definitely going to talk some NBA basketball.
Well, Peter, you mentioned my name because Trent Tucker and I are very good friends. We ran a basketball camp in Tampa that Patrick Ewing showed up. So he'll know who you are and he'll know who I am for sure.
Well, good. Well, you can stay on if you want and say hello. He'll be on at 9:40. I tell you what, let's hold off on the call right now. I'll just wait. Let me set the table. We'll go out to Leo and Ken here. But I got to ask you about the Tampa Bay Rays. A lot of people going crazy, but it really comes down to numbers. When they're scoring 3 runs or less, they're 8-33. Talk about this Rays team right now, scuffling 3-11 in July.
You know what, Peter? They're running into their slump. And what you don't want to have is these 6, 7, and 8 game losing streaks, which they haven't. They're 4 games or 5 games. I don't think they have. But Peter, if you took a look at every National and American League team, I'll bet if they scored 3 runs or less, they're going to be on the wrong side of that dash in terms of losses. Ken, what do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't look at it as a slump. I look at it as a coast. When you're that far ahead, you got to take a breather once in a while, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, you definitely got to, but they're doing it at the worst time, it seems like, because
And you know what, Peter? They lost to Texas. We're not talking about losing into Kansas City or Oakland or that.
Yep.
They're playing division leaders at their place. It's a little tough.
Well, it's a little tough, and of course, the Rays definitely struggle on the road more than at home, so that's an advantage. You got this 4-game series coming up. We'll get back to that in a moment, but as I put out there on Facebook today, and people go fake news and this and that and the other thing, of course, they did the same thing when I posted the Antoine Winfield Jr. story about Brady and the Bucs, possibly Brady coming back. We can talk about that tonight because I know you have some comments about that. Ken, you can go ahead and join in. But the proposed trade from ESPN, Shohei Ohtani, for essentially, 4 prospects. I mean, would you do this deal in a heartbeat if you're the Tampa Bay Rays, guys?
I would. It's prospects. And you know what? Prospects could turn into suspects. So,
right.
As long as they're not trading major league level talent and the Angels will take that, which I would really be surprised that they would take that for Ohtani. So that surprises me.
Yeah, that price is way too low to accept in my mind.
Well, I mean, and you look at it, there are 4 top prospects. Baz is hurt, but he's got lots of potential. Meade has been killing it. Xavier Isaac, and I get it. If you have to give up 4, 5, 6 prospects, and as crazy as that sounds, what's the priority? Do you want to win a World Series? Because I continue to hear where you're giving up all these prospects. Well, again, there's no guarantee that they're going to turn into something. I always go back to Desmond Jennings. People were saying he's the next coming of Carl Crawford, and of course he didn't end up being Carl Crawford. But you missed out on trading for a pitcher like a Cliff Lee or somebody that would get you over the top. So for me, talking to Rays fans today, thought the majority of it, and I was surprised by this, said make the deal, even though it's a rental. Are you okay, guys, with giving up that much for a rental for, say, 50 games? Because who knows? Maybe you can convince them. I doubt it. A lot of money, $600 million. We're talking about a generational player. I think he would have the reaction for the Tampa Bay Rays would be much more than Tom Brady coming here. What do you say?
You know what, Peter? I just don't see it happening because only because I think somebody's going to make him a better deal.
Right.
And that's just me. Again, you're giving up 4 prospects. I can't believe they're not asking for a Rosarena. They're not asking for, Diaz to be into the deal. And I got a feeling maybe that's what's coming down. And again, would the Rays be remiss? There's my SAT word of the night. If they didn't pursue this, yeah, they need to pursue it just to see what the price is and what the going rate is.
Yeah, and it was kicked around in Philadelphia for the Phillies, but for much more active players, let's say, not so much prospects. And I don't think Philadelphia would be interested in doing that, although I personally would love to see them pull the trigger because I do think that they need more pitching. Leo and I talked about this this afternoon. They've got a weakness at first base with Rhys Hoskins being out, and they haven't been able to fill it. And that's been the highlight, if you will, in the Philadelphia marketplace. And the B story was, oh yeah, maybe we can pick this Ohtani up and pick up that pitcher that we need as well. But I think the Rays might be closer to it than say Philadelphia.
And you know what, Peter? Everybody's going to try to do it on the cheap, and it's just a matter of who's going to be the most expensive cheap.
Well, I mean, again, at the end of the day, and we're on with Leo Haggerty, of course, Ken Podleak here of Night Sports Productions. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about here, talking about the Tampa Bay Rays. I don't know if they're ever going to get this close, although they've been competitive for so many years, but you've had so much talent, so many opportunities, and I feel like the Rays have never been able to do this. Let's kind of switch gears because you guys are in Philadelphia. First and foremost, how was the Phillies game, guys?
Outstanding. I'll tell you what, Peter, it took me, are you ready for this? It took me from 40 minutes before the game to the 6th inning, and the over-under was the 7th inning to finish a full cheesesteak, French fries, and a drink. But I got her down.
2 drinks.
2 drinks.
2 drinks, and you guys got Philly cheesesteak.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, Peter. Citizens Bank Stadium, bucket list. Check it off. If you got a chance to come to Philly, let me put it this way. It ain't the Vet, for sure.
It's not a dump, right?
Nope.
Nothing against Eagle fans, but all you heard throughout the years is how much the Vet was a dump. Ken, go ahead and give me your thoughts on the Philadelphia Phillies, their playoff chances, because, of course, I think everybody right now, and they should be, that the Atlanta Braves are most likely the best team in the league right now. So do you think the Phillies have an opportunity to catch the Atlanta Braves?
You know, I think I'm a little bit of a homer, but I do think that they are gamers.
We allow that on this show. We're all homers to a certain degree.
Yeah, and hey, they're the reigning National League champs. I mean, you know, it's sort of expected that they're going to make a run here. That it's a question of when they make their trade to improve their lineup. They need a bat. They need a pitcher. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But watching the game last night, I think I could say there was never a doubt in my mind, and yet the game was tied 3-3 going into the later innings. They just have so many guys that can go yard on you that the game can change quickly, and it did last night.
Yeah. You're absolutely correct, and a lot of doubts right now with Tampa Bay Rays fans. I tell you what, let's go out to the comments, gentlemen. Roger Shue says, first, hurry this crap up. AEW Blood and Guts is on. Hey, listen, nobody told you to watch the show. If you don't want to watch the show, go ahead and watch AEW if you want to.
Sucks.
Let's go out to Ron. Peter, Ron again, the man, the myth, the legend. Appreciate you, my friend. Let's go out to Roger. The Greek isn't on. We riot. Well, I guess you're rioting out there in the streets, Roger. One person yourself. I guess Coach Troy went to Pewter Report. Have fun over there. I don't know what he's talking about. Where the hell is Harry? We already talked about that. Hey, guys, I changed my YouTube pictures to get ready for football season. We'll talk about that in a moment because I believe that's on everybody's mind when it comes to football season. What are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going to do? And there in Philly, what are the Philadelphia Eagles going to do? Baltimore has made a trade for a right-handed pitcher. There you go, Christopher Cole. Yankees are going to make a move for Shohei this year or next year. Harry the Greek says, my buddy, little Leo Haggerty. All right, Greek, I see ya, but you're working. So we got a little intro right there. Did someone say over under? We did here. So we're hoping to have your picks here eventually. And Ben says Rondé closed down the vet, by the way. Let's not talk about the Rays unless somebody wants to call in and talk about that trade or talk about this team overall. 727-255 0391. It's 727-255-0391. The other number, 727-409-7528. Again, 727-409-7528. Guys, I got to get out to this because this was a story last week. Some people still wondering, if it's relevant or not. Leo, what did you make of Antoine Winfield and his comments about Tom Brady possibly, or the Bucs possibly talking him out of retirement?
Oh, I think the Bucs have been trying to talk him out of retirement since the day he retired twice. But, Peter, that would be the death knell for the Buccaneers. They need to move on. Tom Brady is not the Tom Brady that we knew 2 years ago, 4 years ago, 10 years ago. There's not a lot of tread left on that tire. You have a very inexperienced offensive line that can't protect him. Brady can't protect himself. He can't escape a rush. So, yeah, Tom, stay retired. It's time. Ken, what do you think?
Yeah, I think I would love to play against Tom Brady right now. Just in a word, from a defensive old safety mindset, would love to play against him.
Okay. All right. Well, and again, you look at the numbers, 25-9 last year. Definitely doesn't have the mobility, but I believe this Bucs offensive line is much improved. And then on top of it, the emphasis in the run game. With that being said, of course, all talk.
Peter, you brought up a great point, which you need to talk about, that you think if Brady comes back, so does Gronk. That makes a difference.
Well, then that's my thing. And I know the Bucs were talking to him last year about coming out. And of course, he decided not to. And I think that has been one of the biggest losses for this Tampa Bay Buccaneer team. And I continue to tell people, not only is he a pass catching threat, and I get it, maybe he doesn't have the speed he had 5-10 years ago. That's what happens when you get old, all right? It catches up with you. Father Time is undefeated, as the legend would say. But on top of it, he's an inline blocker, which will definitely help that offensive line out and also help out whomever's on the right side, which you assume it's going to be Luke Gedeke. Or you help out on the left side with Tristan Wirfs playing his first year over on that side.
You know what, Peter? And Ken can talk about this in Philadelphia. The three things that make your quarterback even better: a good offensive line, a really good running game, and a great tight end. That's what they got in Philly, right, Ken?
They've got that. Plus, they've got a good pair of legs with Jalen Hurts, as everybody has discovered from seeing the games last year.
All right, let me switch gears here, guys, because you are Philly guys, especially you, Ken. What do you think about the expectations of the Philadelphia Eagles? Of course, 1/2 away from being Super Bowl champions.
One bad holding call away. Let's get that right.
Well, and you got Jalen Hurts, who had, a turnover there, but gets a new contract. It certainly seems like, guys, it's a two-team race in the NFC. It's the San Francisco 49ers, even with their quarterback problems, and the Philadelphia Eagles. Give me an overall analysis, Ken, of the Philadelphia Eagles in 2023.
Yeah, I think that the sky is the limit, and the fan base is really stoked up about the Eagles. Last year snuck up on everybody, including the Philly fan base, but it was a hell of a ride, you got to admit, taking it all the way to the Super Bowl. Great draft this year. The whole Georgia draft thing. If they can get anything out of Jalen Carter this year, it's going to be a big plus. The other Georgia teammates, Nolan Smith, the linebacker, Tyler Steen, the guard on the offensive side of the ball, and Keely Ringo, the quarterback. They all could be contributors this year. That's one of the big questions for this coming season. Can Philly replace the defense that free agency took from them? On the offensive side of the ball, it's business as usual. You'll see the same players there. Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, great receivers, and another year under Jalen Hurts' belt, understanding where they're going to be. Now, here's the key. Hurts has to figure out what defenses are going to try to do to him. And if they're going to try to stop his run, he's got to be smart enough to pull it up and dump it off, or to take the out of bounds slide. That's going to be it, because otherwise he's not going to last in the league. The other point that worries me as an analyst looking at it from the outside is the Super Bowl hangover. Do they have enough gas in the tank to make it to the big game in the coming year? And they've got some more West Coast travel in their schedule this season than they've had in the past. Those games take a toll on the older players. And that's one thing that the Philadelphia Eagles defense has. Brandon Graham's been around a long time. Great player, love him. He might be the all-time favorite Eagle for a lot of people across the country because of the play on Brady in the Super Bowl. But I do think that they are the class of the NFC East for sure. Dallas didn't get any better. There's still confusion in Washington, and the Giants just aren't good enough to figure it out. Although I do like their coach, and I do think that their quarterback will have a better season this year because he's got a chip on his shoulder from being compared with Jalen Hurts. So overall, I think they'll have a very fine season. But is there enough gas in the tank to make it to the end of the line? I still don't know. I got to see how they gel coming out of camp.
Now, you talked about Jalen Carter. Lots of concern there, lots of issues. When he was picked first round, did you have some concerns there? And I know my buddy there, Leo Haggerty, he talks about Warren Sapp. You watch film. Is that what you see? Did you have concerns with the Eagles going with the Jalen Carter?
A lot of similarities with Warren Sapp's game, bowling people over, just being a total wrecking ball in the backfield of the opponent. So yeah, we like that. Can he get onto the field and contribute? Don't know yet. So he's got to get that part cleared up physically and mentally. It's not an easy thing to go through what he went through. But if there's a team in the league that can help a guy navigate through that, I do believe it's the Philly culture, and that's a big plus.
Now, guys, they've lost a couple coaches. You lose your offensive coordinator. Of course, now he's the coach of the Indianapolis Colts. You lose your defensive coordinator. Leo, you've been a coach in the league before. You've been a coach, but maybe not in the NFL, but you've been a coach in other organizations. How much of a concern do you think that's going to be to this team? Even though they're semi-talented, we talked about having a Super Bowl hangover, but coaching definitely matters at the end of the day, right?
Oh, definitely. It definitely matters. I got a feeling, though, Peter, that a lot of that offense was Sirianni, and he's going to bring in somebody with a similar concept of what they want to do offensively. Ken, the big thing the Eagles got is that offensive line. And again, we talked about it when the Bucs won the Super Bowl. Their offensive line was intact. It was veteran. Eagles are the same way. I mean, you got Kelsey there at center. He's the glue. You got Johnson at right guard. You got that massive Asian out at left tackle. My God, once he figures out how to play football, look out.
Yeah, Mailata, yeah.
Yeah, that offensive line, it just scares you. And that's the one thing that the Eagles have intact on offense. And again, when you can run the football, it covers up a lot of sins. And the Eagles are committed to running. I'm just concerned, as Ken is, how much of that running is going to be Hurts, because he don't want to get Hurts, if you know what I mean.
Well, I definitely know what you mean. And let's go down here and talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, because not very good at running the ball, guys. I mean, that was the big emphasis in the offseason. You got Rashard White. In your opinion, I know how you feel about this, Leo, but you can go ahead and comment. But Ken, from a national perspective, with an outsider, looking from the outside with this Tampa Bay Buccaneer team, do you feel like they've improved their team enough, especially on that offensive line and at the running back situation with Rashard White?
I do think that we'll see some improvement there. Mainly because you have another year under that same system. I'm not over the top thrilled that they found the cure and will have the pedigree that Leo talked about on the Philly side of the ball. But I do think that they'll have enough to be competitive, if you will, in the league.
And again, Peter, let's be honest, they're probably in the weakest division in the NFC.
Right.
You could probably compare them to the NFC North, where they basically throw a blanket over all of them. Same thing here. And again, I think the reason they didn't run the football last year was Brady. Brady wanted to throw it 45, 50, 55, 60 times. I think Todd Bowles is going to put his foot down and say, we're running the football because my defense has got to stay off the field. I think that's a huge plus. And I think Baker Mayfield or who's ever back there, Trask, they are probably going to understand that from day one.
Do you feel like it is Baker Mayfield's job to lose, guys?
Oh, absolutely. I don't think there's any doubt about it. It's he's got the veteran pedigree. Kenny talks about the pedigree. It's important to have. And again, Peter, I got a feeling Todd Bowles told the team, okay, it's Baker's job to lose. He's our guy coming into fall training camp. Again, I said this, that there are 22 positions on the field. 21, you want to see competition. You don't want a quarterback. You want your guy stepping in from day one.
Is that what you see also, Ken, with Baker Mayfield taking the reins? He's the starter in 2023. Or do you think the kid Kyle Trask has an opportunity to unseat him?
No, I've always been a big Baker Mayfield fan and just wondered, when he was going to get a chance to step up. And this is going to be it. I don't think there's enough in the second string quarterback there to displace the veteran, if you will. And he's now a veteran. And I do agree with Leo that you want the mindset of the team wrapped around one guy's style of play so that you know the strengths, you know the weaknesses, you can shore up those weaknesses, and you can accelerate on the strengths.
And you know what, Peter? If we get a healthy Baker Mayfield, which I think we're going to get, this is a guy that took Cleveland. And again, I'll repeat that. Cleveland to the playoffs, and they destroyed Pittsburgh at Three Rivers, at Heinz Field.
Right.
That doesn't happen too often. So, yeah, if it's a healthy Baker Mayfield and they run the football, they got a pretty good shot at winning 8-9 games.
And for me, I think they could be the answer to the 2022 Seattle Seahawks, where once again, everybody is ruling them out because they didn't have Russell Wilson. Everybody is ruling the Tampa Bay Buccaneers out because they don't have Tom Brady, and they surprised everybody. They were put an emphasis on that running game. And then, of course, the quarterback coach there, Dave Canales, is now the new offensive coordinator of the Bucs. Guys, go ahead and promote each other here on the evolution of Sports Talk Television.
Hey, go ahead.
Amped Up Sports, go to check us out. We're going to be doing some things come the fall, hopefully. And again, we got our boy up in Pittsburgh, the mouth of the Northwest, Pennsylvania there. We're on with him now too, and we're going to try to make another trek to the Army-Navy game. Peter, it's in Boston this year.
Wow. Okay.
Never been up there, but we've been credentialed ever since 2003 or 2001.
2001.
2001.
Okay.
And the only year we missed was the COVID year when it was at West Point and nobody could get in to get it. So I'm saying our streak is still alive for the Army-Navy game. And I'll tell you what, Peter, I'm looking for a big year out of Amped Up Sports. Ken?
Yeah, same story for that. Enjoyed Army-Navy game to the fullest. I lucked out and actually picked the exact score of the game last year in a double overtime game.
Wow.
Sad to see Ken Numatalolo leave the Naval Academy under the circumstances that he did. I'm not against him leaving, but under those circumstances, that's what I'm sort of against. I mean, he was dismissed the weekend of the game, which is crazy.
Well, there you go. Good stuff from you guys. Appreciate the time as always. And gentlemen, get back home safe, all right?
Will do. Hey, I may call in when you get Trent on at 9:40, all right?
Sounds good, my friend. Do that, all right?
Take care, buddy.
All right, there you go. Leo Haggerty, the legend, of course, Ken Podleak of Night Sports Productions. Let's take a quick break and hear from our newest sponsor on the evolution of sports talk television. Keep it locked. Are you an athlete or professional struggling with life or career transition? Life isn't always easy, but hope is always present. Best Hope Counseling will help you move forward. For nearly a decade, licensed marriage and family therapist Larry Baumgartner has helped clients empower change and discover solutions using a solution-focused therapy approach. Conversations will focus on what you desire to change, not just the problems that brought you into counseling. From anger to depression or other emotions, Best Hope Counseling is there for you. Contact Larry personally on his direct line at 727-946-1346. Again, 727-946-1346 for a telehealth appointment in Florida and Minnesota, or in person an appointment in Minnesota. Take time out and begin your game plan to reconnect, rebuild, and restore happiness in your life. BestHopeCounseling.com. All right, welcome back to the evolution of sports talk television. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. Open phone lines if you want to get in and talk about your Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Tampa Bay Rays, or around the NFL. Any expectations out there? Anything that's on your mind here on a happy hump day? 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. The other number, in case you can't get through, 727-409-7528. Again, 727-409-7528. Let's get them on here. Larry Baumgartner, welcome to the evolution of sports talk television tonight. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great. Lots of great conversation with those two before us, talking about Philadelphia and Tampa Bay. We talk about it all here.
That's right, yeah.
Even Minnesota sports. We got former NBA basketball player Trent Tucker of the New York Knicks, the Chicago Bulls, and, of course, the San Antonio Spurs. I got to ask you, how did you connect with him in the first place?
Yeah, I actually, since obviously I work with athletes, as the commercial just aired, and I thought, how can I like let athletes either know or just kind of connect with them? And I went on LinkedIn. That's what I did. I just went on LinkedIn, and he was on there, and I just asked to connect, and he connected, and that was probably a year ago, maybe something like that, and then just recently, I was like, "Hey, I'm doing this sports show. Would you love to be on?" And he's like, "Absolutely." So we all got it all hooked up, and hopefully, he'll be on the show here soon, and we can just have a great discussion.
Absolutely have a great discussion, and I love the background there. You got Thielen, although Thielen now is a Carolina.
Yes, he is.
So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have to worry about him. I tell you what, let's go out to the comments. Dave says the Bucs running game will be better this season. The O-line is going to be better, maybe great. Got to ask you, Larry, what do you think about this O-line? I'm buying it. My co-host, Mr. Harry the Greek, has been drilling it in my head and trying to drill it in every webhead's head that this is the reason why the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have not been successful in offense. They're not running the ball enough. Do you buy this offensive line? Do you buy Rashard White's?
Yes. I think there's certainly some hope there. I certainly do. And I am very excited to see one of my hometown boys where I grew up, Cody Mauch, to hopefully take over that guard spot. And old number 69 there, I think he's going to be a great addition for that starting offensive line. And I think just with the other guys that are on the offensive line there, I think they're going to be solid, right? And I think they're going to hold Baker up. And I think there's going to be some, nice catches by Evans and all the other wide receivers that the Bucs have. I think there's some good possibilities for some exciting games.
Well, Chris Godwin, and he also got Russell Gage, and hopefully Gage can stay healthy. Of course, Madden, I don't know if you're a Madden game player. I'm going to throw this out there because I feel disrespected. I'm a game player. I play Madden. Yes, I'm 44 years old. I play video games. It's okay. Yep. I'll go off into your corner if you were offended by that, but I do. And Mike Evans was a 90 in the game, and Chris Godwin was an 86. Such disrespect. But
wow.
Your guy right there, Justin Jefferson, was a 99. Now make some sense of this.
Wow.
Yes.
Boy, did they watch football before they voted?
I don't know. I mean,
did they just pick us out of a hat or what? Go on.
9 straight 1,000-yard receiving seasons. And think of this now, because you're an old school guy just like I am. To eclipse Jerry Rice, you would have to have 11. I feel like Evans could be on that track to do that. He's a Hall of Famer already, in my opinion. How can he be just a 90? I get it. It's a video game.
Yeah. That's very interesting. Yeah.
Yes, I don't get it. All right, Dave says Baker is the starter. Then he'll go 32 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, and 4,100 yards. Do you agree with that?
What were the numbers again, Peter? Sorry.
Baker starts for this team 32 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, and 4,100 passing yards. Do you want passing that much if you're running the ball? Maybe
yeah.
I don't know. That could be a good prediction there by Dave.
My first thought was just as far as the yards passing, I was like, it seems like a lot for obviously their kind of philosophies to do a little bit more running. I hope that he has that many touchdowns. Interceptions obviously come and go, their kind of thing. But like, I have hope that it would happen. But it seems like kind of a stretch as far as where Baker's at. But the other thing too is, right, some guys just get on a different team and it's like, wow, we haven't seen this guy perform in a while like this. You know what I mean? And that could be Baker. Tampa is a great organization to go to. And I think that, they obviously brought him in to take charge, right? And so I think with that motivation and that confidence, I could certainly see some great things from him. And I hope that it does continue throughout the season.
All right, we've been talking football here. We're waiting for former NBA basketball player, also K-fan there in Minnesota, Trent Tucker, to come on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. A lot of people talking about the Rays. You deal with counseling. I mean, what do you think about this right now? Because, baseball is really a mental game. It's not just physical, it's a mental game. And right now, mentally, I feel like the Rays are just trying so hard. And their pitchers are trying to be perfect. And when you try to do that, it doesn't necessarily work out in your favor. And it hasn't worked out in their favor. In fact, I put this number out there. I can't believe I'm saying this. 8-33, Larry, when they score 3 runs or less. Your thoughts?
Well, obviously, not good. But as you were talking about that, Peter, I thought, do you feel like they're trying too hard?
Yeah, I feel like they're trying too hard. And you're the counselor here. I mean, let's say you get a Tampa Bay Ray in front of you here in the next couple of days, and you can't tell anybody you've got a Tampa Bay Ray.
Yeah, sure.
But what are you saying to them at this point? Because here's a team that was scoring 5 to 6 to 7 runs a game. Unbelievable statistics, runs, batted in, and home runs and stolen bases, and just killing it in every offensive category. And in July, they're 3-11.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of like, where is their head? What's going on in their head?
Right.
And finding out, like, is there something that can help turn that around? Right. Whether it's, maybe just all the personal stuff that obviously could affect it. I mean, obviously, it's a team in general that's not doing as well as it should at this time of year, but. And again, right, I think about there's always could be the first person to make that change, whether someone gets on a hitting streak or someone just like hits 2 or 3 home runs in a row in a game or something like that.
Yeah,
I think there's just one person that needs to have that spark, and the rest are like, oh yeah, let's get back to we could just something. And so I think it's just that kind of that domino effect. And the bottom line is I still believe in the Rays, right? Wholeheartedly, right? I hope that they win the East and do some great things. Obviously, hope the Twins did too. But anyway, the bottom line is I think I'm not worried about anything as far as the Rays. I think they're just a world-class organization, and they have the tools to move forward. And so I think it's just a matter of just kind of going through this process. It might be a few more games or so, but I think hopefully against the Orioles for this weekend that they can get a couple wins off of there and then kind of get back in that. Okay, now we're feeling some confidence about ourselves, and that can just kind of be a trickle down effect to the rest of the players.
Yeah, because it's a big series. I mean, you got a 4-game series versus Baltimore. This is essentially for first place. I get it. It's late July. It's not a must win, but it kind of is in the way this team is going right now. Now, somebody kind of mentioned this. Do you think this locker room or clubhouse could have been affected by Wander Franco getting benched?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I mean, it affects the dynamic, right? And when you have a star player out, it can, obviously it affects him not being in the game, right? And sometimes you just kind of get in these grooves where it just works, right? And for when someone's out, then it can affect the flow, or it can affect some confidence. So yes, I do think it.
Do you think it could have long-term effects? Because he was back in 2 games, but ever since that's kind of happened, this team is kind of different now. It seems kind of different, and maybe we're making too much of it because, again, baseball is not only a mental game; it's a physical game. You've got to produce, and it's tough to hit around baseball. I mean, I don't do it. You can't do it. There's
right, yeah,
people out there that can do it.
Yeah.
But I'm just wondering, and it seems like, maybe it was affected. I mean, have you ever had clients that you talked to about this where there was some type of chemistry issue in a clubhouse or in a locker room and it affected their play on the field and off of it?
Yes, definitely. Obviously, I can't say names, but yeah, I think it can happen in any profession, right? Whether it's, football, basketball, baseball, whatever we want to talk about, right? Hockey, all those kind of those chemistry moments. And we know how important chemistry is for any team, right? Whether it's, a point guard out for a few games or, an outfielder out for a few games or even more than that, right? It can affect just kind of the whole dynamic of it. And obviously injuries are injuries, right? But when that person comes back or, suspended or something like that, when they come back, you hope as heck, right, that they're able to kind of regain that success that they had before he went out. But yeah, I think even if folks are, out for games and, it could affect, the relationship that they may have with a partner, it could affect, just many, many different things. And that's kind of where I'm able to talk with them and kind of help them kind of bring some more clarity to life, bring some more clarity to as far as what it is that they do for a living, obviously as an athlete, right? And so we talk about really like kind of reconnection, rebuilding, and kind of restoring as far as his or herself, right?
Mm-hmm.
And feeling comfortable with that and getting back in the game, right? And doing their job the best that they can.
All right, let me go ahead and you got to promote yourself here, Larry Baumgartner of Best Hope Counseling. Tell everybody out there in case they don't know and they're watching the show and they're like, why is this guy on? Because he works with athletes. Go ahead and educate them a little bit, Larry.
Thank you. Yes, I am the CEO, licensed marriage and family therapist for Best Hope Counseling. We serve Minnesota and Florida, so the entire state, wherever you're at, I can certainly work with you. I provide solution-focused talk therapy to athletes and professionals. Those athletes can be current or even former athletes, right? So what I really help clients with is a fair recovery, life career transitions, right? Let's say, right, you get traded, right, from the Bucs to the Vikings or vice versa, whatever it may be, right, or the Rays to the Twins, which happens a lot, right? We know that does happen a lot.
Stop trying to put that stuff out there in existence. All right, stop it now.
But I can help them with just readjusting to life in a different place, right? And also I work with relationships as well as men's issues. So any of those you need help with, certainly contact me. I'd love to hear from you. My direct line is 727-946-1346. Again, 727-946-1346. And I also have a website. It is www.besthopecounseling.com. And love being on the show. And hopefully we can get Trent here connected and have a great conversation with him.
Yeah, we're still waiting for him, but
okay.
That's what we do here on The Evolution. It's live. If he doesn't come on, we'll just make the best of it. We'll have him on another time. Hopefully we can get him on, but he's a former NBA basketball player. Did you know about the Trent Tucker rule and what's that all about?
I knew about it, but I think over the years I kind of maybe forgot a little bit about it. But yeah, I think you're kind of an expert on that, right?
I got it. It says the Trent Tucker rule is a basketball rule that disallows any regular shot to be taken on the court if the ball is put into play with under 0.3 seconds left in the game or the shot clock. Now, why this is relevant to the conversation, of course, I'm going to ask the guy about it because he played for the Knicks. And, of course, the Knicks always played the Bulls. And that night when he made that shot, of course, Phil Jackson, the Bulls, they were upset about it. So, of course, the NBA enacted that rule. So I wanted to ask him about that. And, of course, how do you go from playing for the Knicks, you play for the Spurs, and then you go to the Chicago Bulls, your once hated rival? I got to hear what he has to say.
Yeah.
You're in Minnesota. I know there's a lot of people here in Tampa excited about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and what's going to happen. How does it feel right now to you in Minnesota? Are there a lot of Vikings fans that are excited? You win 13 games last year. Your team does. You got Kirk Cousins, still some major question marks. Don't ask Justin Jefferson because he doesn't even think Kirk Cousins is one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah,
we talked about this already. Maybe friction. You may have a new client here eventually, Larry.
I heard. Yeah, I mean, obviously, after we talked about it last week, I was like, was it just best for Justin to be honest, right? Or should he have said, well, honorable mention is Kirk, certainly. You know what I mean? Something like that, right? He didn't. But with what I'm hearing on a K-Fan, obviously, that's where Trent does some stuff as well. But that's our sports station up here. They said that afterwards, basically, Justin talked with Kirk, and Kirk was like, you know what? I got to respect the guy, right? I mean, I'm not one of the top 5 quarterbacks in his mind, so I have some work to do. So I loved hearing that accountability, right? I mean, Kirk just, and obviously I want to watch this quarterback special on Netflix too, but Kirk and just my time watching him and kind of following along with his career is like, I think he's a very humble guy, right? And so he knows he's not one of the best, but he works hard. He wants to do his best. So I think he appreciated Justin's honesty, but I'm sure he wished he was one of the top 5 for Justin's thoughts as well. But
I mean, I just wonder because we're human beings, and you know all about this, about feelings and stuff. You just kind of wonder, like Kurt going to him and saying, "I'm not at least your top. I'm your quarterback, but I'm not your top quarterback." Like you had Terrell Owens crying about his quarterback,
right?
You have Justin Jefferson on the other side here saying, you're not my top quarterback or not. So
let me ask you, Peter. Obviously, from someone that's not up here in Minnesota.
Sure.
Would you put Kirk in the top 5, or do you like who they picked? Right? They picked Hurts. They picked Hebert. They picked.
I can't pick Kirk Cousins. I don't know. It's just I can't pick him in the top 5. I think he's exactly right. I just think it's different when a player's asked that and I get it. He's being honest, and all journalists and media members, they want athletes to give him a soundbite and be honest. But at that point, you're kind of going over a line there because you got to deal with that player in the locker room.
So let me ask you this: Let's say they asked Mike Evans, who are the top 5 quarterbacks right now in the league? How much of a chance would he say Baker Mayfield?
I think he would say something about Baker Mayfield. I do.
You think he would?
That's Mike Evans for you. He's a true professional. That's the reason why he doesn't get the respect that he's getting. I tell you what, let's hold off on that. We got a call here. Okay. It's from Minnesota. I think it's maybe him. Maybe he's calling in. Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. You're on the Sports Web with yours truly, along with Larry Bumgarner. What's up?
Hey, Larry. It's Trent Tucker.
Hey, Trent.
Hey, Trent. How you doing?
Expecting you on video here, but we got you on the phone. What's going on?
Yeah, the link never came through, so I just said, let me go to the old email and see if I can find a number to call.
Okay. All right. Well,
awesome. Well, thank you for calling in.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for calling in. And we also got one of your old friends that wants to say hello to you in just a little bit, Mr. Leo Haggerty. You remember him?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember Hags. Yeah.
All right. I'll tell you what, really quick. Leo, you want to say something to Mr. Trent Tucker here?
Oh, it's Doctor. How you doing, Doc?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. I told Leo, I said, if he never wanted me to come to Tampa again, host another basketball camp during the afternoon outside.
It gets warm down there, doesn't it? A little humid.
We can't do it outside, and we did it inside at Hillsborough Community College, and Trent goes back, Peter, to the University of Minnesota. That's where I first met him. And,
oh, cool.
Yeah, he played for the Gophers and Jim Dutcher in that, and
retired his number. Yeah.
And the Trent Tucker rule is exactly that. And it's funny because Trent, you can tell the story better than I can, but they had you into the NBA office about that too, didn't they?
Oh, they did, yeah. David Stern, late Commissioner David Stern called me in and says, "Well, Trent, you know the shot should not count, but it's going to stand." And I said, "Well, Mr. Commissioner, I beg to differ." He said, "Why stand?" I said, "Because the reason you and I are having the conversation today is because you saw a man make a shot in the 10th of a second." He says, "Trent, get out of my office."
Hey, Trent, but you got to tell the story you were having with Orr as the ball was in the air. That's a classic too.
Oh yeah,
You and Louis Orr.
I was talking with Louis and Johnny Newman. The ball was in the air for so long, and we was having a conversation, and we both were saying, it's on line. We think he may have a chance, and the end result, gave the Knicks a chance to win a game that day.
Well, I got to ask you, when you make that shot, I mean, how thrilling is it? Because it's the Knicks, it's the Bulls. You've got this rivalry going on there in the early 90s, all the way through the mid-90s. I mean, talk about it a little bit. How excited were you to make that shot for the Knicks? And even though it became a rule, of course, how satisfying was that to bury the Bulls?
Well, it was always nice to beat the Bulls at that time because they were a huge rival of the Bulls, during the late 80s. And it was the first year they had gone to 10 seconds on the game clock and the shot clock. And so when it was 1/10 of a second left, the play was designed to throw a lob pass for Patrick Ewing. And I was supposed to be a decoy to go from the left side to the right side, hoping that Michael Jordan would empty out the backside that Patrick could fake up and then go to the front of the rim for a lob pass. But Michael Jordan, being the smart player that he was, he read the play. When he took the first option away, we didn't have a second option because we didn't have a lot of time to get to option number 2. And I knew that Mark Jackson was up against a 5-second count. So I went along the baseline, up the sideline. He just gave me a little flip pass, and I turned and shot the ball as quickly as I could before Scottie Pippen could make a play on the basketball.
Can we call that a shot, or was that a hook throw pass to the basket?
I got to call it a shot, right?
Hey, we did.
It counted, right? Yeah.
Hey, Peter, thanks for letting me come on to say hi to my good friend Trent Tucker, but I'll get off so you can finish the show, all right? Take care,
Hey,
guys.
appreciate it, legend, right there, Leo
Thanks,
Haggerty. I tell you what, let's bring
No doubt.
somebody else on here, Trent. He's a big Chicago Bulls fan. He's a big Chicago sports fan. Let's go ahead and get his intro on. Here we go. Professional handicapper extraordinaire of 1252 Chicago Sports, Mr. Harry the Greek. Welcome. You're on with yours truly, Larry, and of course, former NBA basketball player Trent Tucker, who played for who? Your Chicago Bulls.
I know. I just wanted. Hi, Trent. Hey, guys. How you guys doing tonight?
Good. How are you?
Doing good.
Good.
Trent, you owe me a TV. You just don't understand, man. You still owe me a TV. I don't know if we could ever replace it back from the night. Are you kidding me with that shot? Do you understand what I did when you hit that shot, what I did to that TV?
All right, I got to talk about this because everybody's going to ask you, so I'm going to ask it. What's it like to play against Michael Jordan, Trent?
Well, growing up as a kid, in Flint, Michigan, I had 3 older brothers who were very good basketball players and good athletes at that time. And when Michael Jordan came into the league and he was, was taking off, and he was taking the league by storm, and he was dominating on a nightly basis. So my 3 brothers would have a conversation with me, and they would ask, they said, "Is he that good, or you guys just letting him score?" And I said, "You guys can't fathom how good he is." I mean, I thought that Magic Johnson was the best basketball player that I had ever seen. And when Michael Jordan busted onto the scene, I was like, wow. I mean, I said, this is a different athlete. This is a different basketball player. This is a different competitor. Now, I knew him, when he was in high school, because I worked a basketball camp that he was at for 1 year. And I knew he had great talent, but I had no idea that he was going to become what he became. And for a lot of guys during that time who were older guys, they may have had some jealousy toward what Michael was doing. And I remember one reporter asked me after we had played the Bulls in the regular season game, and he scored 50. And back then, the game was a little bit more physical, where you could hand check, you could hold, you could knock guys out of the air. There was no such thing as flagrant fouls. And he scored 50 points against us in a very close game in the Chicago Bulls win in Madison Square Garden. And after that game, I said, you know what? That's the greatest basketball player I think I've ever seen.
So there's no debate, Trent.
Well, I was going to say, yeah,
There
you
is
agree,
none.
Scott?
There's no debate here. LeBron James is not the greatest of all time. Whatever, Steph Curry.
Come on.
It's Michael Jordan
MJ.
or bust, right?
Yeah, he is the greatest basketball player that I've ever seen.
Okay.
But my top three players of all time would include LeBron James as number 3, and Magic Johnson would be number 2.
Wow. Now, what about Kobe Bryant?
Yeah.
I like Kobe. But at 6'9", how Magic Johnson kind of changed. He changed the game for so many people. He and Larry Bird, they busted up the scene in the late 70s and early 80s. They allowed the guy who was not known to be the super athlete a chance to play basketball at the highest level. He gave, that individual, a sense of hope that, hey, you know what, maybe one day I can play against the best as well, because Magic and Larry are playing not above the rim, but under the rim, but they're doing with such flair and such style and such moves, and playing at a very high level. I grew up playing against, Magic Johnson back in Michigan. He's from East Lansing, I'm from Trent. So
sure,
we got a chance to knock heads when we were in junior high and high school. And the first time I ever heard of Irvin, they said, well, there's a guy named Magic in East Lansing. And at that time, everybody in Flint thought, you know what, East Lansing, he's not from Flint, he can't play. So we all he's not from Flint, he can't be that good, right? So we played in a summer basketball league tournament up in Saginaw High, in Saginaw, Michigan. And I saw this guy walk in about 6'9" with a big afro. They said, hey, that's that guy Magic from East Lansing. I said, okay, I'm gonna go check him out. And the first time he came down through a no-look pass, I said, I understand now why they call him Magic.
How good was he? I mean, go ahead and give me your opinion. Why was he so great? Was it the passing? Was it the shooting? Was it the fact that he could play multiple positions? In your opinion, what made Magic so great?
He also had eyes on the back of his head. I mean,
He was a leader, man.
I think all the things you just mentioned, but I don't think a lot of people realize that if Magic Johnson really wanted to score the basketball, he could have led the league in scoring.
Wow.
Because if you watch what he did in Game 6 in the 1979 NBA Finals, when the game was on tape delay, we couldn't watch it in live broadcast because at that time the NBA had not reached the peak it's at today. I mean, to go into Philadelphia without Kareem Abdul-Jabbar as a rookie against Dr. J and that crew, and scored 42 points and beat them in Game 6 on the road, right there, that told me a lot about who Magic Johnson was.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Harry.
I got a little story I'd like to share with Trent, and I think he might even remember the game because he was still in the league. Do you remember a game? And I was just discussing this with the great David Schuster. He was the AP sports reporter and the sideline reporter for the Chicago Bulls for many years. You might even remember him when he was sitting on the sidelines reporting on the games for David. I was in Chicago when Allen Iverson, by the way, one of my favorite basketball players of all time, to watch that young man come up in the ranks and get humbled really quick. Do you remember the game when Michael Jordan, when he pulled across, when he crossed Michael Jordan over, Michael actually looked like he broke his ankles and fell down? Do you remember that game?
I remember that game.
Okay. There's a reason why I'm asking. Because AI went off for like 30 or 40 points. Michael didn't have one of his better games. And at the end of the game, you could see Allen Iverson ripping off his jersey. He's pounding his chest and he's running off to the sideline. And Michael runs up to him right in the Chicago Stadium at the time. And he grabs him and he's whispering something in his ear. And Allen kind of gives him a forearm like, man, don't tell me anything about it. Michael just shook his head up and down. A week later, Chicago went to Philadelphia. Michael Jordan took on Allen Iverson in that game. And you talk about a humbling moment. I think that was the turning point for Allen Iverson, because Allen Iverson went like 1 for 20 for 3 points, and Jordan scored 40. And at the end of the game, this time, Allen actually was listening to Michael, and he was whispering in his ear, and you could just see Allen's head just shaking up and down like a bobblehead. Man, I think not only was Michael Jordan the GOAT, but in my honest opinion, I think what made him the GOAT was his leadership ability and how he brought everybody up to try to get up to that level. I want to know your thoughts on that. Forget about the player that he was. What kind of a leader was he?
He was a great leader, and all the things you talk about, what great leaders have to do to motivate their teammates to play at a certain level. Michael Jordan was the type of guy that was never going to ask his teammates to be Michael Jordan. But what he was asking of you, the role that you play on this team, the talent that you bring, to this organization. We want you to work on that skill every single day so that you can be the best at what you're supposed to do, so that when we get into a moment where now it's playoff time with a chance to win championship, we need for you to be able to execute the skill, that you have, so that we can get over the top. And if you're a catch and shoot guy, he expected you, to work on your making open jump shots. If you were a defensive guy, he expected you to put in the same type of effort, to become the best player that you could become, so that when it was time for you to step up and perform, you could help the team coming down the stretch. But, great leaders, they lead by example. And Michael Jordan probably played even harder in practice than did during the games, and that's almost hard to imagine.
I want to get back to that in a moment. We're on with former NBA basketball player Mr. Trent Tucker, now WFAN Minnesota. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire, and of course Larry Baumgartner, counselor of Hope Counseling here. Best Hope Counseling. I see you, Tampa Bay Ray. I know you want to get in here in just a little bit. We will get out to you. Stand by. Larry, do you got a question? Because you guys have some Minnesota connection.
Exactly. Yes. So
Minnesota.
So one of the things I really wanted to talk with you about Trent is I am a counselor, like Peter had said, and I work a lot with athletes, and current and former athletes. And one of the things that I work with as far as with the former athletes is like that transition to what's next. Right. I mean, I know you've been on KFan Saturday mornings for, probably 25, 30 years here now. And we did some stuff with the Wolves and stuff like that. Like, how was that transition for you in 1993 when it was like, this is it? Did you just, contact the Wolves and be like, hey, I want to be a part of them? And I think you were a broadcaster over there. And like, how did that go for you, just as far as what you did, but also just physically and mentally to say, this is it for my playing career. What's happening? What's going to happen next with me?
I was very fortunate, to have an idea of when I thought the game was going to end for me. And at the age of 29, I was an unrestricted free agent, and that was the first year that the NBA had gone to unrestricted free agency. You were only a restricted free agent, so that was the first year the rules changed, and I was part of the first unrestricted free agency class. And I remember I was sitting with some buddies of mine one evening. I said, you know what? I got about 4 more years of basketball left in me. They're like, what are you talking about? You're 29 years old. You can play for much longer.
Yeah.
I said, no, I have about 4 more years. And I knew by the time I got to the age of 33, that might be the time for me to say, you know what? I can no longer do this physically or mentally at this level. And maintain a level of play that I can be satisfied with. And the good thing for me, I had a good agent, and we sat down and talked a lot about, what could be next down the road. And when you're 28, 29 years old, for most players, they never think the game is going to end because, and there was always a new level that you was chasing after you finished, one level. From junior high school, there was high school. From high school, there was college. And from college, there was the NBA, if you were lucky enough to make it. But after the NBA, there's nowhere else to go. That's the end of your basketball run. And most of us are in our mid-30s if we're lucky enough to get there. And so at 32 in September of 1992, I get a phone call from Jerry Krause. And And I said, well, if I can make this happen, this is the perfect way to go out. And I was a free agent at that time as well. And Jerry Krause offered me a non-guaranteed contract to come play for the Chicago Bulls. I had nowhere else to go at that time in 1992. And he says, I know that you've always been on guaranteed contracts. And he says, but, this is all we have to offer. I said, I'll take it. He says, well, you got to make the team. And I said, well, what you're asking me to do, the role you're asking me to play, I think I can do that. But the only thing I need from you is that you're going to give me a fair chance to make the team. And he says, if you can do the things we think you can do, you should be okay. I said, but you didn't answer my question. I said, are you going to give me a fair? I said, yes, you're going to give me a fair chance to make the team. He says, yes, I am. I said, okay, I'm on my way. And it was the first time ever in my basketball career, from elementary all the way up to my first year in the NBA, where I had to literally make a basketball team. And
Wow.
Here I am.
Yeah.
Here I am trying to make a basketball team of the world champion Chicago Bulls with the best player on the planet. And
I got to tell you, Trent, I was standing on the rooftops when you were coming to Chicago, and you were a special kind of player, and a lot of people really had you very underrated. Please, I mean, it's an honor to be able to talk to you about it. I'm a huge Bulls fan, but most of all, I was a huge sports fan, and especially in basketball back then. I just have a comment that I like to make, and if you want to rebuttal, that's great. 9-10 points a game, that transitions to about 22 a game in today's game. Your thoughts? Because I'm going to tell you right now, I think you could have played to almost 40 years old in today's game versus what you had to play back then.
I mean, it's a great question. What do you think of the state of the NBA right now?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people say that when you were playing, it was milkman and guys that should be at UPS, and the athletes now are superior and the game is superior. And I feel like guys like you could absolutely kill it because there's no defense, Trent. There's no big men at all. There's no physicality. They've taken it all out of the game.
I just want him to rebuttal. How many points a game, honestly, do you think? I mean, because your body would have been perfectly healthy. I understand what you're talking about, kind of hitting that wall when you're saying, you know what, I think I'm going to leave, yada, yada, yada. But I mean, honestly, if you were just jogging up and down the court, didn't have to play defense all the time, how many points a game would you have scored in today's game?
What today's game fit my style of play, because it's a 3-point shooting game. So I would have been a perfect player in this era. And in so many ways, I came before my time, because at that time, you weren't taking 3-point shots. You were going inside. It was inside out. The players, during the time of the 80s, to me, I think it was the best era of basketball in terms of overall talent.
Thank you.
Yep.
From inside players to perimeter players. And, I'm a huge fan of Nikola Jokic, but I think
love him.
If he had to play during our time, he would have struggled mightily, because guys like David Robinson, Patrick Ewing,
Charles Barkley, keep going.
Hakeem Olajuwon.
Hakeem.
How about one Dennis Rodman that nobody talks about, the Worm? Are you
Bill
kidding me?
Lampier, Rick Moore. Yeah.
John Sally.
John Kemp. Yep.
They could have guarded him, because he wouldn't have been able to just use his size and strength to knock them over, because they were 7 feet tall as well. But they were better athletes in terms of what they could do defensively, so they could get out and take away, that mid-range game, and force him have to beat them off the dribble. And with their quick feet, they would have gave him a ton of problems. And then on the other end of the floor, he would have had a really, really difficult time trying to guard some of the players I just talked about. And I'm not even going to talk about him trying to guard Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, because it would have been
Skyhook, yeah.
Oh my God, he invented that. But could you imagine Dennis Rodman in today's game, Trent? Honestly, I mean, there would be an over/under on how many boxing matches would break out in the course of a game. Are you kidding me?
Well, LeBron would act like
LeBron
would act like he got shot every time he got touched by Rodman. I mean, Rodman.
No, we're not going to go there. But I'm just curious, what would Dennis Rodman do in today's game? I mean, he wouldn't be able to score any points for obvious reasons, but I mean, it'd be fun again.
Yeah, he would get all the rebounds. And
Yeah.
I have conversation with a lot of players. They say, I said, Michael Jordan in today's game would have averaged 50 points a game.
And you know what? You're not lying. I truly, I am so glad there's a former player actually validating that. I mean, really, it's people don't realize, especially the younger generations, how good Michael Jordan was, other than watching highlight films. And I'm looking at the highlight films, going, that's not even close to half of them. Of
Nothing.
his highlights. I
Nothing.
mean, it's just what I watched. It was
Harry,
great.
Harry and Larry, that matches here. Got Trent Tucker, former NBA basketball player for the New York Knicks, of course, the San Antonio Spurs, and the Chicago Bulls. We got our man on the street. He's got a question for you. Best of the Bay, Tampa Bay, Ray Kennedy. Welcome to the Evolution. What do you got for Mr. Trent Tucker?
First of all, guys, thanks, Trent, Trent Tucker, Mr. Tucker. Great to talk to you. I appreciate it. But we have a lot of people of varying ages here on the Sports Web, younger and older, and of course, it always comes back to the LeBron or MJ, Michael Jordan versus LeBron for the greatest of all time. I was just wondering, since you were there and you saw it and you played in those years, can you explain to some of the younger viewers out there what it meant that Michael Jordan and what he did first, being the promised guy that got there out of the University of North Carolina and came through with the Nike contract, became the greatest of all time? Did he make the road easier for LeBron James to follow him right up behind the heels? And what are your thoughts on that argument?
Well, he made it tough for anybody who wanted to go to Chicago and play in his shadows. So that's exactly
That's for sure.
Yeah.
And you never saw, the one thing you never saw was all those highly talented players who were leaving small markets. And when Michael left Chicago, they never went to Chicago. Tracy McGrady never went to Chicago. When LeBron James became a free agent, he didn't go to Chicago. There were a number of guys who were very talented during that time, but they avoided going to Chicago because they never wanted to play in the shadows of Michael Jordan. But also there was a stat that I heard today. When Michael Jordan, I think in 1987, averaged 37 points a game, I think he took 12 3-point shots that year.
Wow.
And but guys, I would love to continue, but you know what? I gotta go. And my kid doesn't play basketball, but he plays hockey. So
yeah, there you go.
Blasphemy.
Well, I tell you what, Trent. Trent, thank you very much for the time here on the Evolution.
Thank you, Trent.
Welcome back, my friend. Go ahead and promote yourself here on the Evolution.
Okay. Hey, anytime you guys are willing to have me, I would love to come back.
Thank you.
That would be great.
Right. Sounds good, Trent. Appreciate it. Trent Tucker, former NBA basketball player, now radio personality of K-Fan in Minnesota. Thanks a lot for your time here on the Evolution, my friend. All right.
Okay. Thank you guys for having me.
All
Trent,
right.
can you give us a Go Bulls before you go?
Go Bulls.
There you go. There you go.
There you go.
That's my boy right there.
Trent Tucker.
Thanks again, Trent. Appreciate it.
For your time. Guys, great interview here. We got Tampa Bay Ray right there. I loved his honesty about it. And you know what? I think the question is always, what game is better? I still feel like the 80s and the 90s game is a lot better. Do we all agree here on this?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's hands down. It's not a little better, Peter. Honestly, it's not even comparable. It's so much better than it was from before. And I'll be honest with you, even back then, it was okay to watch, regular season basketball. It really started to gear up when playoff season.
Playoffs.
Yeah,
Playoffs.
because of Michael Jordan.
Come on, Jim Irsay.
It made a complete difference.
Yeah.
Okay, and you wanted to watch every single game that Michael was playing. It was just something you had to do. Even opposing teams would sit on the sidelines just to see what Michael was doing. So he transitioned the game. He completely brought back to life the NBA, very similar to a couple players did in baseball. And Ray, you and I have talked about that in length many a times. That's Major League Baseball almost went down the tubes because of what happened with the strike, and then steroids came around, but it was acceptable. Well, the same thing happened in the NBA. The only question that I wish I was able to ask Trent was, what was his thoughts? Was Michael that above the game to be able to have a head coach fired in a Doug Collins?
Oh, yeah. Harry, I got a question for you, Harry.
He'll come back.
Sure.
He'll come back. Yeah.
The baseball clock, the purists, they worried about the adding the clock, the changes to the game, the history of it. The NFL, the way it constantly changes with the rule changes and the refs and the instant replays. The thing about it is that basketball is one of those sports, and you said, Peter, back in the 80s when you had Vinny Microwave Johnson and Bill Laimbeer and Larry Bird and Magic Johnson and an up-and-coming Michael Jordan, the game already was lit. I mean, full 100% fire lit. It's still lit today, but as it goes to that three-point, shoot 'em up, never even posted up, play defense inside. I haven't seen a 5-second clock violation in 10 years. Do they even do that anymore in the NBA? No, because they shoot them all from outside. So that's the reason why I don't think that, as we talked about the changes to baseball and football and how they continue to evolve, basketball is good, but it was great back in the 80s.
It was great in the 80s. All right. I know. Let me see here. It was. The NBA was great back in the day, says Rob.
When Michael Jordan broke into the league, gentlemen, his perimeter shot sucked. It really did. His perimeter shot wasn't there.
But he flew. He flew.
But you know what? They had to think not one particular person for helping. There was a particular team that made Michael Jordan a perimeter shooter as well. And that was the one Bad Boys of Detroit, because they discovered something called the Jordan rules. Every time Michael Jordan had the ball when he was going into the lane, not one or two players would leave their man. The entire team collapsed into the lane, and they choked him, punched him, tripped him, poked his eyes, grabbed his nads. It didn't make a difference. They were not letting Michael Jordan up to the rim. And that forced Michael Jordan, not 1 year, but 2 years later, to sit there every day and shoot, you ready? Almost 1,000 free throws per day.
Wow. Great stuff.
To become a perimeter shooter. And that's why Michael Jordan's game elevated the way it did, because you couldn't defend him. He forced you to come up, and the moment one player left his man, he'd either pass the ball or he took off to the rim. Greatest of all time. You're never going to see it again. The only thing that's closest to him is one Mr. Kobe Bryant.
All right, guys, let me read the comments, and then we'll get Larry out of here, and we'll talk with you, unless Larry wants to hang out. Atlanta
What's up, Larry?
Tampa Bay and the World Series. Thoughts? Atlanta versus Tampa. I know Tampa, the way they're playing right now, lost
Tampa.
A huge series.
They won't be in first place after tomorrow.
Oh, geez. You know what? We got a full house here, but we'll go on to the phone line, see who this is. Welcome to the Evolution. You're on with yours truly, along with the gang here. Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire of 1252 Chicago Sports. Tampa Bay, Ray Kennedy, best of the Bay. And, of course, Best Hope Counseling's Larry Bumgardner. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, man, you already know who this is.
Who is this?
Hey, man, what's up?
Oh, my God. You know what? I know who this is. Curtis, welcome to the Evolution.
Puff, pass, Mr. Curtis.
Peter.
Huh?
Peter, come on, man. This ain't no.
This is Mr. Williams. My bad.
Of course, it's Mr. Williams from Tampa. Don't you hear the rocks in the background?
Will you shut up and be quiet, Harry? All right.
Harry.
What's up, my man?
I want to enjoy eating your wings when we gotta meet up.
And whatever you want, man. I'll tell you what. Next time I throw a big old barbecue, Mr. Williams, you are invited over.
Harry, those chicken wings you made, Harry, were so great, Mr. Williams. You got to come.
No,
sorry.
You're not going to tease me with wings here, Mr. Williams. What's on your mind tonight? Stop it.
Hey, man. Hey. One thing I'm gonna say, man. Hey, I can't wait till the season start.
Okay.
Everything looked good in my draft.
Okay.
Which draft are you talking about? Are we talking soccer with Lionel Messi in Miami? We're talking
Shut
football.
up and be quiet. He's talking about his fantasy football draft.
Yeah, but didn't you know that Lionel? Why aren't we talking about Lionel Messi playing
Wait,
for the
Mr.
MLS?
Williams, if you got the first overall pick, Mr. Williams, in your fantasy, if you're the first pick of your fantasy league, who does Mr. Williams take as the number one player overall in that league?
I already know who he's taking.
Who is he taking?
He's taking a quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Kyle Trask.
Al Trask. Boom.
Mr. Williams. He's not taking Kyle Trask. Mr. Williams, who are you taking?
You know what I'm saying? If I had a first round pick, who would I take?
Yeah.
But right now,
we're waiting.
Man,
What happened to his first round pick? Did he get sanctioned by the league for something?
Shut up.
Jefferson, right? You pick Justin Jefferson, wouldn't you?
Okay, go
No,
ahead.
man, he's going to pick a Tampa Bay player. Watch.
I'm about to meet you all.
Josh
Mr. Williams.
Russell Gage.
Who?
Josh Johnson.
Who?
Bryce Young, quarterback,
No,
Carolina
no,
Panthers.
no, he said Josh
Josh
Johnson.
Johnson?
Yeah, absolutely.
Josh Johnson's a baller, baby.
Yeah, because he was here before.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to take Josh Johnson as your quarterback. Why?
Where is he playing now? Yeah.
He's 72 years old. He's on Seattle's taxi squad.
Yeah, he did not have a perfect chance here. That's why I said I would have took Josh Johnson.
Well, Mr. Williams, he didn't have a chance here because John Gruden and Bruce Allen had already started screwing up this Buccaneers team. But you're right, Josh Johnson comes here, and we had hopes here because Gruden brings him, and we're like, what can he do to this phenomenal quarterback? But he's had
You'll get used to this, Larry.
Sorry, Larry. Okay, I'll shut up.
Larry, you'll get used to this, buddy. It's not you, right? You're going to get Mr. Williams, I just want to know one thing. I understand you want some wings. Hold on. Pour yourself another drink and hold up for a second. We inquiring minds want to know what kind of barbecue does Mr. Williams like?
Hey man, well, I pretty much like my wings fried, bro.
Me too. I understand that, but do you like them mild?
Kansas City.
You like some mild with a little. Do you like it mild or you like them spicy?
Mild, bro. Can I like it mild? Cause when my Buccaneers win the South,
say it.
We gonna come in the back door the mild way.
The back door? Because I
never thought
you gotta pay extra for that.
I never thought that.
It's like Joe Biden. Hang on, let me see something.
You shut up and be quiet.
Oh, it smells good.
Listen.
Oh, come on, Harry.
Listen. Mr. Williams, I never thought in a million years that you would pick the first quarterback in your fantasy football draft and we'd be talking about Josh Johnson.
Josh Johnson.
And in a lot of people's opinions, it's better than Kyle
What
Trask.
about Luke McCown? Right?
Luke McCown.
I thought you were going to say Brad Johnson.
Yeah, Brad Johnson, yeah.
I think I'd rather take Brad Johnson.
I'd rather take Brad Johnson. Super Bowl champion. I mean, come on.
Of course, he's a Minnesota Viking. All right, Mr. Williams. I don't know where to go from here. Anything else?
Oh, I know where to go.
Hey, man,
Wingstop.
Hey, man, Harry.
Yes.
Hey, Harry.
Yes, sir.
Please come out to training camp.
I promise you, I will make sure I make a special video for you, and I'll even have some Greek rub all over them chicken wings for you, bro.
Make sure there's some back door in there too.
Did I want Harry to come out to training camp? Right before I go have surgery, I want to shake hands with Harry.
You will. I promise you, you will, Mr. Williams. And you know what? I'm going to do you even one better. I'm going to get a hold of you. We're going to exchange numbers. And I know you might like to gamble a little bit, and I'll see if I can make you a few dollars this year and give you some real solid picks. You know, we picked over 70% last year.
Right, Harry, hold on.
Yes, sir.
One thing I don't do, I don't gamble. I am a diehard Tampa Bay FSU until the day I die.
Okay, I can get with that. I can get with that. I don't know
taking Josh Johnson number 1 overall. I hope you don't gamble, Mr. Williams.
But he wants to shake my hands. That's the FSU guy up there. I'm a Gator, baby.
Hurricanes.
Both of you guys.
The U.
All right,
you.
Appreciate.
Peter.
Yes.
Hey, Peter.
Yes.
Hey,
yes.
We gonna eat wings from the Gators with FSU. All right.
Sounds good, my friend.
We got the donut truck stop.
Mr. Williams, it's not fair. There's someone else on this program you've never asked a question to, okay?
Mr. Baumgartner.
His doctor, Larry Baumgartner,
No worries.
he's a therapist,
Yes.
and he's a counselor, and he takes care of people with any kind of issues or problems. So if you have a question for him, because it costs the Sports Web a ton of money to have.
Are we talking
this guy
chemical
on.
dependency or?
I mean,
certainly.
if you have a question, his name is Larry Baumgartner. You got to be able to say a question. Larry, I want you to meet Mr. Williams. Mr. Williams, this is Larry.
How you doing, Mr. Williams?
Larry.
Yes.
Hey, Mr. Larry, I'm gonna tell you, hey, take care of Harry for me, okay?
Okay. All right.
Please,
We can do that. He's a good guy. Yep, absolutely.
Because for one, when the Gators meet FSU and they lose, he gonna be in a straitjacket hugging himself, okay?
Whoa!
Whoa.
Mr. Williams, thank you so much for calling in. We don't have time for a second call tonight, but we will talk to you next week. Mr. Williams, have yourself a great day.
Whoa. Who's running this show here, guys?
I thought I was kind of. I was helping you out.
Whoa.
Mr. Williams needs to make another drink.
We shut up. Comment of the year there, Mr. Williams. Appreciate the call. I don't know who's calling here. I don't even know if I should answer.
Harry,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Harry, you my man. Number love, brother.
Number love, my brother. We'll talk to you later. Greeks,
Have a good night,
we're
Mr.
all
Williams.
together.
Take care.
It's like I wasn't even here.
It's Greek love.
All right, my man.
All right, man. Appreciate you. I see the phone lines blowing up here. Before we go there, hold on a sec. Let me get Larry out of here. Hold on a minute. Go ahead and promote yourself on this crazy show.
Well, Larry was just starting to have a good time.
I mean, Larry, you want to hang out for a little bit? We got turnbuckle talk coming up. I know you're a big time wrestling fan.
Oh, I gotta go.
Larry, I keep having this dream. Can I ask you about something?
Sure.
Well, I'll let you guys chat here. Let me head out.
I keep on
Larry,
for another segment, but no,
I keep on having the
Larry,
dream.
I've had this dream of these kitty cats running
Wait,
around.
Mr. Baumgartner, have you heard
Is
this
that
one?
a bad thing?
Guys, I got a joke for you. Larry, if you know the joke, I'll let you deliver the punchline before you get out of here.
Oh, God.
I went to my psychiatrist. I said, I keep having this dream. I'm a teepee and I'm a wigwam. I'm a teepee and then I'm a wigwam. What did my psychiatrist say to me, Mr. Baumgartner?
I don't know.
You're too tense.
Oh, get it.
Oh, that's a delivery. That was
Hey,
a
Larry,
delivery.
Larry, but I do have a
Nice.
serious question for Larry.
Okay, go ahead.
Larry, do you know why Greek boys grow mustaches, Larry?
Oh,
I
geez.
don't know. Tell me.
That's so we can look like our mothers. Have a really good night.
Oh, geez. You know, I really, really am tired of you guys at this point.
I'm
But
glad he said that.
I never thought in a million years that
That I
I'd
get
be
excited.
dealing with Josh Johnson as a first quarterback. I'll tell you what, Larry, we'll keep you on. Hold on a sec. I don't know who this is. Welcome to the Evolution. You're on with you're on the sports web. Go ahead. I don't know.
We're all here too.
Hello.
We're here for you.
I always scared him away. Shoot.
Hi, thank you for calling.
Well, that's
Please
great.
press
That's,
one
that's,
if
a,
you want
that's
to
a
talk
great
to Larry.
call there, guys.
That was Jake
Press
Paul's
2
manager
if you
again.
want to talk to Tampa Bay Ray. Plus
Okay.
3 if you want your pleasure taken care of by Mr. Peter Blake.
Will you
Or
shut
plus
up
4
and
for some
be
picks of the year.
All right, I tell you what, guys, let's go out to Curtis here. I know it's going to be a better call than Josh freaking Johnson. Curtis, welcome to the Evolution.
Cade McNown.
Shut up.
First of all, how dare you think I'm somebody else?
Yeah, I know. Did you like that, bud?
I'm sorry. I thought it was you, Curtis. I don't know why.
As soon as he said Curtis, I'm like, Curtis is going to like take his 300-pound ass and just like kind of twist him like the pretzel that he is.
First of all, me and
Curtis, I got you, bro. I know Peter's address. I'm texting it to you right now.
You pay extra for that.
Larry,
too.
shut up and be quiet. Ray, shut up.
Shut up! Harry said it can't be Curtis because there's no puff pass moving on.
Okay. Well, I listen, there had to be some pop pass in this. I love Mr. Williams, but Josh Johnson is the first fantasy quarterback of, in this draft. Okay. I've heard it all at this point.
Well, you know, I'm gonna quote Rick James and Dave Chappelle: "Cocaine's a hell of a drug."
Well,
anyway.
Oh my God. This show just went to hell in a handbasket.
Yeah, because I brought Harry and Ray on. That's what happened, right?
No, man.
I didn't say a thing. He's talking.
Excuse me. It's the new guy that started it. Just look at him. He started it. See?
Anyway,
See?
what's going on with you guys,
You
man?
see? It's right there. It ain't us, Ray. Or
Well-
That's my Viking stuff. That's what it is, right?
Oh yeah, that's exactly what
It's
Adam.
bringing crazy out of everybody right now. We just had former NBA basketball player on, Trent Tucker. So we were talking NBA, believe it or not. We do that on the show sometime. And we were talking about fantasy football, and of course, talking about the Bucs and the Rays' struggles.
It raised TP troubles.
Go ahead, Pete. Keep going.
Okay, Harry. This is a question. Well, this is for all you guys.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
We're having the draft at work or whatever. Fantasy draft or whatever.
Yes.
And the guy is like, he's got the number 1 pick. He said he doesn't care. He's taking Patrick Mahomes. I'm like, okay, you have fun. You have fun with that.
I mean, you take Patrick Mahomes. I mean, let me go out to the new guy here, Larry.
Take Patrick Mahomes?
Would you not?
You know what? That's a really great question. And again, a lot of people get misled and think that I'm a guru with fantasy football. I kind of leave the fantasy stuff to a gentleman by the name of Alex and oh Lord, Adam Padermo from O'Reilly Auto Parts. Extraordinary people with fantasy. But if you're asking me, I would look at some wide receivers like and I can't believe I'm saying this, from Minnesota, Justin Jefferson.
There you go. There you go.
I can talk about some wide receivers that were coming from Cincinnati, but no, you're also talking about someone that took.
For me, it's Jalen Hurts,
who took 4 quarterbacks on his roster a couple of years ago and won a fantasy league, and his first pick was a quarterback.
Josh Johnson, because he could run the ball too.
Well,
shut up, Ray.
No, but Patrick Mahomes is not a bad acquisition for the first pick.
Listen, I have the second pick, and I'm going to already tell you, if he takes Patrick Mahomes, I'm going to take Christian McCaffrey because he's going to run the ball and catch the ball in the backfield.
Wow.
I'm going to tell you right now, you need to stay away from that pick because they're going to overuse him, and he has the ability of. I'm sorry, it's got a high probability that he won't even finish the season.
Let me tell you, though, Harry, I think the NFC West is a weaker division this year than the NFC South. And I'll tell you that because I thought Seattle, hey, Geno Smith, the romantic story, but then the Los Angeles Rams, they still have number 1 pick until 2072. And also down south there with the Arizona Cardinals. You're talking about a very easy schedule for those 49ers. I just don't know, really, Trey Lance and not Brock Purdy. If you're a team out there, the other 31 there, Curtis, aren't you looking to try to acquire a Trey Lance? Because that kid can ball.
And you know what's really interesting, guys? Trey Lance went to the same college as Cody Mauch.
There you go.
Buccaneers rookie, right? North Dakota
State.
There we go.
There you go. See
another episode of very useful knowledge. I love it.
Got to put this Midwest roots in
By
there,
the way, Larry, welcome to the Sports Web. Welcome to the turmoil. And most of all, thank you for being a punching bag because we really like you.
It's a pleasure.
We really do. No, really. It's a lot of fun. You're a great addition to the.
It's better than me.
No.
All right, Curtis, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Too much to acquire him.
What now, Curtis? Too much?
No, I was saying San Fran, they wouldn't get rid of Trey Lance unless somebody wowed them because they gave him too much to get that kid.
Well, now he might be a third stringer.
Sam Darnold, second string. I mean,
well, you guys stop it.
Sam Darnold may be the starter because Brock Purdy isn't healthy yet. So
they're going to get rid of Trey Lance about as much as the Tampa Bay Rays are going to get Shohei Ohtani.
Okay, don't start with
Kraz. Are you really serious now?
Not start with that.
We're going to work in Brady
whatever
too.
you want odds-wise, Mr. Peter Blake. I will give them to you. Yes, sir.
If the Rays get Shohei, we will buy Peter a jersey.
I'll not even buy him his jersey.
But he has to eat
the games.
He has to eat a full plate of vegetables, and then he can have it.
Yeah, you know what? That's true. Some squash and
I'm
okra.
not eating any vegetables at
collard greens, and
cantaloupe.
He can't spell collard. What are you kidding me?
How about go to hell? How about that? I'm not eating any vegetables.
No vegetable for you, Peter? Is that the deal?
No, I'm not a vegetable guy, Larry. I'm not. I don't eat peas.
But Larry, I'm really healthy
I eat
though.
spinach.
But he's really healthy though.
I eat spinach and green beans. I'm healthy. I am healthy.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm stunned.
Green beans with the cheese on and stuff, right?
Shut up, Harry. Thank you, Larry. Shut up, Larry.
Man. Toot toot.
All right, Curtis, go ahead and finish up here, my friend. Go for it.
I was just calling to see, just shoot the S with you guys.
Hey, man.
You guys.
Scoop. Yep.
It is after 10.
Well, it is after 10, and we're about to go and do turnbuckle talk, where Harry goes into a fetal position, and he doesn't want to talk about wrestling.
You know what?
So.
Speaking
pile driver.
Turnbuckle talk. Hold on, Harry. I know you know these two guys.
Yep. Go ahead.
I was watching a video last night on Jesse the Body Ventura. Okay.
From Minnesota.
Minnesota. Yep, there you go. There you go.
And,
Isn't he like the governor of that
He
state
was,
up
yeah.
there?
He was, yes.
He was talking about he was in the locker room before WrestleMania 3 and he was trying to start a union. And Hulk Hogan went and told Vince McMahon because they had to go to like the Supreme Court for this. And Hulk Hogan was the one that told Vince McMahon that Jesse the Body was the one that was in the locker room trying to start a union. And Jesse came out and said, the reason Hulk didn't want to start a union is because he got paid more than all the other wrestlers combined for WrestleMania 3.
Of course. I mean, I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility at all.
Yeah, I remember that like it was yesterday.
Well, I'm glad you do, Harry. That's good because I thought you were suffering from dementia sometimes.
No. But see, I'm gonna tell you, Harry he's probably not big into wrestling now, but
he's not.
I feel like everybody at one point in time in their generation they watched wrestling, and
That's
in the
right.
70s and the 80s, wrestling was huge. 70s, 80s, 90s, wrestling was huge.
Harry watches small people wrestling because the lines are greater and he can make more monies on the parlays.
Bro, that's true, and I also
love
love Mazzola Rolla wrestling. Okay,
All right,
so Google it if you don't know what it is, and try it. It's even
Is that
better.
2 girls, one ring?
No, what it is? Do you guys remember the game of Twister?
No,
never heard of
stop. Stop.
No, stop.
Curtis, it's good
What are
talking.
we talking about next?
Curtis, we got to run here. We're going to get Larry out of here before he decides to cancel the
But it's not a bad thing, though. Mazzola Rolla is awesome.
The only thing Harry is worried about wrestling this year is the wrestling match that they're going to have in the NFC North this year.
All right.
Yeah, that's right, baby.
Good stuff. All right, Curtis, call back here.
Nice.
You use that second call, my friend. All right. All right. Larry, go ahead and promote yourself here on the evolution of sports talk television.
You bet.
Larry,
Yeah,
by the way, before you go, please forgive us. Okay?
It's had a great time, man. Thanks, guys. Thanks.
Good. I'm really glad you had a great time. Don't take it out on Peter. I'm just an ass sometimes.
A lot of fun. Yeah, I'll just leave you guys with this.
It
So
is
I'm
your
a counselor, therapist. I work in Minnesota as well as Florida. I'm owner of Best Hope Counseling, licensed marriage and family therapist. We work with athletes. We work with professionals, and we can help them with life, career transitions, relationship issues, men's issues, a fair recovery, all those kind of things. I work with and help kind of folks take that next step, kind of building solutions and moving forward. Love to hear from you guys. If there's any folks out there that can help, please contact me. My direct line is 727-946-1346, 727-946-1346. And the website is besthopecounseling.com. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it.
All right,
Larry, that's awesome, man.
Thank you.
Take care. Thanks
Larry,
so much.
seriously, man, it's a lot of fun having you on. Your sports knowledge is way off the charts, and you know what?
It is.
It is. I love it. I really do. But seriously, he makes me do it. Just to let you know.
He does.
I didn't say anything at all. Larry, thanks a lot.
We'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much.
Take care, Larry, Mr. Baumgartner.
Where's all those girls screaming?
I don't
Larry's
know,
room?
but really
Hey,
quick.
Peter, can I just do one drop and then I'll let you guys do? I apologize. Thanks for having me.
No,
in
I'm
here.
leaving too, buddy. I got to go first.
Hold on a second.
Come on, you're the co-host. You got to stay until after I leave. You got to be polite.
No, you're up there. I'm not.
I'm the guest. Hey, okay. Orioles come to town for a 4-game starting tomorrow, and right behind it, the in-state Florida Marlins. We talked about this early on. It was a marathon, not a sprint. And we knew that this team was going to face adversity, and we said the month of July, and guess what? That all came to pass. What we haven't seen yet in our Rays is a team that can get behind and continue and have the confidence and be able to come out of it and come forward and win that game against this 4-game set against the Orioles for American League, first place in American League East, and then an interstate rivalry against Miami, who we should want to beat the crap out of just because, again, they're an interstate rival and they're from Miami. This will be where the Rays season is defined in 2023 for the last 3 months. We know the first 3 months record setting, but this team's got to step up and do something against the Orioles, then the Marlins, to prove that they still belong in the talk as the best league team in not only the American League, but possibly entire Major League Baseball. Fellas, I appreciate it.
Ray, before you go, on a serious note, I'm going to give you some predictions, okay? Tomorrow is the Orioles. I think Tampa will handle the Orioles when they play them, okay? They're going to have a major problem playing against the against the Marlins. This team will beat Tampa for the series, but it's the other way around. It's Baltimore they're going to handle. It's not Miami.
I'll take that, Harry. And Harry, this Rays team's had trouble against National League teams in 2023. Yep. Cubs, Phillies, Padres. I mean, and then the Braves. And I went and saw Strider pitch. You talk about the Rays and the Braves in the World Series. Not only would that be a great World Series, but 100% plausible. But yeah, Harry, I would take that. If we could take the series 3 of 4, even take 3 of 4 or 4-0 from Baltimore, Miami can have their love like the Panthers did, because the Lightning are still the best team in the National Hockey League, and the Rays are still going to be the best gosh darn team in Major League Baseball. Fellas, thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it. Mr. Bumgarner was lit.
All right, there you go. Tampa Bay, Ray Kennedy, best of the Bay. We'll see you soon, my friend. All right?
Much love, Ray. Man,
There
I miss you, brother.
All right, now I got to get these guys on because I know you love to have them on there. Right there, Mr. Mark Mancini, former XPW announcer. Wow. You got Ralph Williams right there, bodyguard of the Bird.
What the hell is that shirt?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Harry's wearing? Harry, did you pull that out from 1996?
There he is.
Where did that shirt come from, Harry?
Oh,
Here,
my.
Let me bust out my 79 Pirate stuff.
I'm telling you, you between
Mark,
Mark,
how in the hell are you doing? And Ralph, how's one of my favorite radio personalities on this
I'm
planet?
doing good.
Wow.
Thank you, Harry.
Mr. Pittsburgh, baby. Look at that. He's clean shaven.
Pittsburgh, who?
His wife shaved him, man. Look at him. He's like a new man, man.
No, it's called a Norelco there, Mark. That's what it is, a Norelco, you know.
They're going to have a
shave that beard right
you.
off of my face.
Okay, enough of you singing. Harry, go ahead and promote yourself really quick. We'll get you out of here because we're about to
You won't even let me talk to my favorite guys,
Go
Ralph
ahead,
and Mark.
talk to him. Talk to
It's all right, man. I'm leaving. I'm done. That's
Mancini
it.
brothers.
That's right.
I mean, I'm getting
Don't
no
worry,
love.
Harry. I'll be in touch to be on the radio show.
Yeah, you
So,
know, this is just, you know what? I mean, this isn't even nice, man. I mean, God sees all. You remember that, Peter?
Yeah, I'm just about ready to ask you, Harry, bust out the 78 Cubs pinstripe things next time.
Did you say Cubs? Mark, did you say Cubs?
He said Cubs. He made the mistake of saying Cubs.
Mark,
well,
I'm going to have to moon you.
Oh,
Don't go
he's looking for some rope.
Don't do it, Harry.
Oh, man.
I'm going to do the Stevie Wonder now.
Look, I'll tell you
Oh,
what,
no.
between you and
There we go.
your impressions and Mr. Williams saying he would draft Josh Johnson.
I just changed Mr. Williams' name to Mr. Belvedere.
Oh my God! Hey, listen. On the next SmackDown, is that what it's called?
Yes.
Okay, I won't be watching. Just letting you know. Okay.
Yeah, it's on FS1 this week, Harry.
Oh, good. Just tell me what time it is, and I will be.
8 o'clock.
Okay, 8 o'clock, Harry. It's past your bedtime.
8 p.m.
We've got a curfew now. So
You know what? I just want to say, everybody out there, thank you guys so much for having me on. I absolutely love all the guests
You're
that come
welcome,
on
very
here, and I'll tell you what, you know, Mr. Baumgartner, he's awesome. Tampa Bay Ray, Trent Tucker. I don't know, that was awesome having him on. Peter,
Tampa Bay
thanks for
Ray was a
facilitating
classic.
everything.
He was a classic. It looked like he was selling cars in the background.
Well, Tampa Bay Ray's having a good time. He's got a couple of drinks going in him. He's hanging out at the beach a little bit. He's just doing it
That's
the
the
right
worst
way.
looking hat I ever saw. You wear a hat like that, get a free bowl suit.
I'm getting ready to get off. I want to say thanks to the people that left comments that Peter just so rudely wouldn't read. But that's
I'm going to
okay.
read them. I'll tell you what. I'll read them right now.
No, I got to go. Okay, I don't have time for all that.
Right now. Here we go.
I just wanted to say hello to my boy, Two Giant Goofball himself, KR, and everybody else out there.
Okay.
Chris Cole.
KR says, evening, Peter and everyone. Jason
And good
Power
evening.
says, ask Trent about Bernard King. We'll get an opportunity. Jason, sorry about that. We will ask him another time. Roger says, thank God the Greek is back in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Trask.
That's not
Amen.
funny.
Jeremiah says, hello, Shadow. Hello, Shadow. How you doing? Two Giant Goofballs. Modern basketball is not as fun as the heyday of the 80s and 90s. Also, get off my lawn. Christopher Cole, I remember watching Tucker on the Bulls. We all do. Rodman would be the most hated player in the league if he played right now. He was the most hated player back then, so nothing would change. Legends. Modern basketball players travel more now than the cruise ship worker. That's really good.
Oh, yeah.
Raspberry jalapeno sauce.
Hold on just for a second. Ralph,
Yes.
give me that side view again.
Let's see here. Hold on.
Give me that side
Yeah.
view. Turn sideways, bro. Wow.
Look at that,
Ralph.
man.
Look at that.
Ralph, you look like you could
That is
be.
the ultimate Pittsburgh professional there.
That is the
It
much
looks
bigger
like
shot, and it's
Ralph. It looks like you could be
That's
between the turnbuckles, bro.
Oh my God. I'm really tired of you, Harry.
This guy sucks.
I wouldn't
right.
mind being a wrestling announcer.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind that. I think that would be great, Peter.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Bryce Young will come up short this year.
Yeah, real short.
And be better than Kevin Patrick.
Oh, geez. It probably would be. KR says, good Lord, Josh Johnson. KR again, Mr. Williams needs to stay off Doe Weed, respectfully. KR again, Peter is cracking up. Too funny. Yes, I am. Peter's about to cry for the rest of the night. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Rob Johnson for me. Two Giant Goopball says, how does that make you feel? Two Giant again. Ray, I heard you were having trouble with your teepee.
Oh, TP.
Two Giant Goopball, NFC South is Pee Wee football. Two Giant again. Turnbuckle turn to another talk for Harry. Shut up, Andrew. This show has gone off the chain and has. It was a cup, not a ring. Two Giant again. Wrestling question: why does Vince McMahon look like a mix of Papa John and Mario now? Anybody like to answer that question? I don't know. I mean,
the last comment is the comment of the century.
Is that a mullet, business in the front and party in the back?
He's talking about your haircut, Pete. But we'll talk to you later. Thank you so much for letting me come on, gentlemen. I'm going to let you make sure you stay tuned. The comedy hour is gone. We've got the Mancini brothers on right now. You're going to really enjoy it. It's great turnbuckle talk. If you got the information, don't forget to call in. But I'm Harry the Greek. You can catch me here Mondays and Wednesdays. And you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for having me on.
We will
and
have a wonderful night. Harry,
blessed.
before you go, we will have a wonderful night the first week of October when your Blackhawks come into Pittsburgh.
Yeah, you get to deal with the brand new
World
threat
Order
of the oh Lord, wait till you see this lineup. And by the way, did you know the Chicago Blackhawks got Bufflin back?
All right, there you go. Something
you guys remember Bufflin?
Yeah, hide the buffet tables.
Yeah, now he's also the one that's going to come after every single player.
All right, guys.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for having me on. Have a really good night.
Harry.
There you go. Good stuff there, Harry.
Night, Harry.
Let me put you guys in the lobby. Let's take a quick commercial.
What a show.
I'm telling you. Let me take a quick commercial break here. We're going to hear from our sponsor. And then when we come back, Turnbuckle Talk on the evolution of sports talk television. Keep it locked. Are you an athlete or professional struggling with life or career transition? Life isn't always easy, but hope is always present. Best Hope Counseling will help you move forward. For nearly a decade, licensed marriage and family therapist Larry Bumgartner has helped clients empower change and discover solutions using a solution-focused therapy approach. Conversations will focus on what you desire to change, not just the problems that brought you into counseling. From anger to depression or other emotions, Best Hope Counseling is there for you. Contact Larry personally on his direct line at 727-946-1346. Again, 727-946-1346 for a telehealth appointment in Florida and Minnesota, or in person an appointment in Minnesota. Take time out and begin your game plan to reconnect, rebuild, and restore happiness in your life. BestHopeCounseling.com. All right, welcome back to the evolution of sports talk television. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about here. I don't know what to think after some of the comments we heard, some of the texts that you guys had put in there. Open phone lines, Turnbuckle Talk, talking about WWE, AEW action, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. The other number, in case you can't get through, 727-409-7528. Again, 727-409-7528. It's the Sports Web. Once again, I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. Mark Mancini, former XPW announcer. Welcome back, my friend. How are you doing tonight?
Oh, man, I'm glad to be back, man. This is a show that's sweeping the country. You know that. Each and every Wednesday. I'm glad that nice sponsor you got. Everything's picking up. God bless you, man. I am glad we are putting Tampa on the map here each and every week, my friend.
Well, that's what we do here, Madman. Let's go out to the bodyguard of the Berg, newest Pittsburgh personality, radio personality, Mr. Ralph Williams. How are you?
Hey, how are you guys?
Nice shot, my friend. The text sounds
Thank you.
good.
Yeah, I'm in
Yeah.
my Studio A here at First Line Consultants Services Studios here. I'm in my A studio. My B studio is being reconstructed. So when that gets done, I'll be back in my B studio.
Well, I like the A studio at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah,
And
so do
speaking
I.
of, yeah, absolutely.
He looks good, Peter, man. He's
it's-
got the clean shaven look.
Yeah, I
know,
dress
good.
professional when I'm on TV. I don't,
The
you know.
Pittsburgh professional, man.
That's
Well,
right.
Well, there you go. Now, speaking of professional, let's talk about it. Dominic Mysterio is now
Oh,
your
my.
new NXT North American champion as he pins Wesley to win the championship.
Yeah.
Did you watch this? Mark, is this the right thing to do? Dominic definitely is over. He's got lots of heat. Once again, welcome to Turnbuckle Talk.
Well, and I appreciate it. When you look at this, I think it's just given to a guy that, yeah, you get a lot of heat. And I think the heat was always with Priest and Rhea and all those guys, and he just happened to stumble upon it. I mean, I don't know. Now you look at the NXT thing. I mean, if you're going to give him it, giving him over there, because he's not going to win any gold in the WWE. That's for darn sure.
Well, and I think it's the right move because you got to put him somewhere. And the reason why you built him up in the first place as a major heel with major heat is because eventually you want to make him a champion. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be on the main roster. It can be on NXT, right, Ralph?
Absolutely. And don't forget, guys, he came straight to the WWE. He didn't go through NXT.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is an opportunity for him to, as Peter said, to make some hay here and become something of a wrestler. Because right now he's down. The Judgment Day, he's going nowhere except with mommy, and that's it. Okay. I like the idea of him being in NXT because then he goes bye-byes and we don't have to deal with him up on the main roster. Okay. I like this idea. I think it's a good thing for him. It's a good thing for his career. And I think he'll stay out of everybody else's way in the on the main roster.
And of course, the Judgment Day they did interfere like they always do.
Yes, they always do.
They always interfere. Of course, there was a match scheduled on June 30th between Wesley and Mustafa Ali for the title. Was scheduled for the Great American Bash on June 30th, but I guess that never happened. Now, speaking of SummerSlam with WWE, Logan Paul has asked WWE officials if he and Ricochet can open SummerSlam. And this is what Logan said. He says, after SummerSlam, my brother, who is fighting on the same night in Dallas, as soon as my match ends, I'm going to hop on a private jet, fly to Dallas in my gear, walk in the ring with my brother for his fight against Nate Diaz. I'm going to try to, and I don't know if I'm going to make it, but I think if I do, it'll be minutes. Like I walk into the venue, round one, Jake Paul, Nate Diaz starts. Also, with him and Ricochet, I feel like this could steal the show. If this is the first match of SummerSlam, this is smart on their part because both of these guys, especially Ricochet, because I believe he's really underused, and WWE writers and management, they don't know how to use him. Yeah, he's a good wrestler, and I think him and Logan Paul may steal the show. What do you think, Mark?
Well, I think you might be right, but I think you answered that question that everybody was afraid to ask, but you put it out there. Ricochet has been underused, and I think he's been pushed down the ranks there ever since teaming up with Strowman and even before that. So this is going to be a good push, with going against Paul there, and we'll find out. I think Ricochet wins this. I really do.
Well, and I think you would think Ricochet win it, but Logan Hall being the superstar, I mean, what's it for? I think you have to have a good match. To me, I wouldn't be surprised to see some type of disqualification or various matches between both of these parties because they are so athletic. They are so over with the crowd. And I think, again, they're going to steal the show because of their wrestling technique, because they're high flyers. Right, Ralph?
Absolutely. And then on top of that, too, guys, you have to understand both of them guys are very angry because they didn't win Money in the Bank. And, they both got in each other's way. And what happened was they lost the Money in the Bank. And now you have two guys that are going to fight against each other because they lost the Money in the Bank. And it's going to be an interesting match. it could be a disqualification. But Logan Paul has to play catch up right now because he lost he lost the Money in the Bank, and he's lost a few other matches. So he needs to, if he wants to really make any kind of a thing with the fans, he's going to have to start winning some matches.
And the word was, not only Logan Paul being a superstar or future superstar, because some of the matches he's put on in his short career have been amazing in itself with, not much wrestling experience. I mean, give the kid a lot of credit. But the reason why they're putting on this match is because they had that spot at the last pay-per-view Money in the Bank where they wanted to do the ladder. And it really didn't go viral like they wanted. So, of course, I think Triple H and the writers there, you showed them in the back. They've been, getting at each other. I think this is a perfect match to open up SummerSlam. And, of course, I'm a little bit biased because, I want to see Jake Paul beat Nate Diaz, and I want to see Logan Paul show up for his brother. Now, with that being said, it looks like it's going to be once again. It doesn't look like it's going to be because Brock Lesnar accepted the challenge the other night after attacking Cody Rhodes and his home.
That's Cody Rhodes' fault for getting in his way. I mean, you see the guy coming, run and hide. You got a match coming up, man. You can't be doing stuff like that. I mean, come on.
Well, he called him out. He called out the Beast. The music hits. He doesn't show it all of a sudden. And I get it. I know why they're doing it. Mark, what do you think of this overall? I'll tell you what. Let's hold off on that thought. Let's go out to our phone lines. Turnbuckle Talk. You got Curtis on the line. You're on with yours truly, along with the madman himself, Mancini. And, of course, the bodyguard of the Berg, Mr. Ralph Williams. What's on your mind?
I heard y'all talking about Cody and Brock. I want to hear what everybody else has to say before I comment.
Well, I don't know where you go with it at this point. I hope this is the last match. I understand what they're trying to do. They're trying to make Cody hurt and get over and kind of like Super Cody, right? It's like Super Cena, Super Cody. So when Cody eventually is going to have a match with Roman Reigns, which you would suspect would be at WrestleMania in Philadelphia next year, which, Mark, you would know a little bit about.
Yep.
You build that up. You build this story up. I don't know if it's done what it's supposed to do, in my opinion. I think it's been a little flat, honestly.
Well, and not only that, when you look at it, I'm surprised they had the tables turn in Atlanta with Cody Rhodes being from there. At least pick up a little steam heading into SummerSlam with Brock Lesnar. Don't have Brock come out here like Ralph alluded to and get slammed all over the place like a Gumby. And that's the problem. Now you're going to try to pick up the pieces again and try to maintain something, and Cody Rhodes will probably beat him at SummerSlam. But I've seen a lot of this go back and forth, and Brock makes him look like a rag doll, and then all of a sudden, 2 weeks later, Cody Rhodes, it looks like nothing happened to him.
Ralph, how they booked this right, in your opinion?
Well, this has to be the last one, guys. It has to be the last match between these two. This is the rubber match, and the rubber match is the one where we're going to find out who wins, and it's 2-1, and it has to go. It's time for Cody Rhodes to start competing for championships and quit wasting time with all this stuff because a few wrestlers complained in the back about how he was pushed up ahead of everybody else. So what did they do? They kissed their butts, and they went ahead and they decided to make Cody work for what he has to work for. And I think, they promised him championships, and here's what's happening.
Curtis, what do you think?
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm tired of seeing it. I was almost as tired of seeing the Bloodline come out every weekend, and
Oh, come on, Curtis! You're just trying.
Listen, no.
Mark's favorite group, the Bloodline. Right.
Hold on. Don't get me wrong. Ever since Jay bought the house down a couple of weeks ago, dude, SmackDown. Listen, I stood up and I applauded, okay?
I think we all did. I think we all applauded it, and we want to see over on Roman Reigns, but I don't necessarily think if that happens for me, guys, we talked about this last week. I talked about this with you, Ralph. If they take the title off of Roman Reigns and put it on Jay, then that match at WrestleMania 40 between Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns means nothing to me. It means nothing. It's a failure because the whole thing was you're supposed to build Cody up. If he's the main event guy, you do not put the belt on Jay. You make it a great match between both of them. You're not going to squash Jay, but you're going to make it a great match. And then, of course, Roman somehow retains the belt.
So that means so what you're basically saying now is there's going to be either two things that have to happen for that to happen.
Yep.
Number one, Cody's going to have to get traded to SmackDown. or number 2, he's going to have to win the Royal Rumble again.
Wow.
Because
I didn't think about
Roman's
that.
on some, Roman's
you're right.
Roman's not dropping the belt. There's
He's
no way.
dropping the belt at
and
WrestleMania.
listen, that's
Well,
what.
it'll probably be at WrestleMania. It's not going to be this year. And the thing is, this thing is, everybody thought this was the end of the bloodline. And I kept saying it's going to get interesting here because now we got Rikishi going to come storming into this thing and try to, this thing's going on all the way to WrestleMania, boys.
I thought at WrestleMania 39, guys. I actually thought the bloodline was going down, and I was wrong, and I even admitted I was wrong.
Yeah.
Well, and I think they have to have Roman Reigns in the bloodline because, at the end of the day, that's where your ratings are at on SmackDown.
Right.
And Fox is not going to sign off on a new deal if Roman Reigns is not there.
And to me, honestly, and you might not agree with it, but I think Cody Seth Rollins is a better match.
It probably is a better match. It probably is a legitimate match because who injured Cody in the first place with storylines?
Exactly.
Seth Rollins.
Absolutely.
That's a very compelling match. But if you're setting it up for Roman Reigns and Cody and if you're trying to make Cody a super face, like that's what we were told they're going to do with this whole story and how they're going to finish it, Cody has to go against Roman. If it doesn't, then it's a failure. It's a failure. Cody's just a mid-card, in my opinion.
Yes.
But I have another scenario for you.
Okay, go for it. Go for it.
Damian Priest crashed in on Seth.
I can see it.
A lot of people don't like Damian Priest. I think Damian Priest is a good bad guy.
No, he's a good bad guy, and he can wrestle. We told you that he would be in that main event picture after.
He had a good match on Monday night. I mean, he really
The problem is you could be a good bad guy, you could be a good wrestler, but the dude has no mic skills, and that's where you can't hold a belt.
You know it.
Yeah.
Well,
the mic skills. That's the reason Finn Balor ain't going nowhere. He can't talk.
Maybe he should go get MVP and let MVP be his mouth.
Well, there you go. I mean, and that's what it comes down to. Or maybe you go get Paul Heyman. When Heyman is done with the bloodline, maybe you do that. But I think that's down in the future there. Curtis, anything else?
No, man. It's just the other thing is what are they going to do with Asuka, Bianca, and Charlotte? Is that going to be a triple threat match? If
it's Charlotte going over again, I don't want to see it. I'm sick of Charlotte being a champion. I know what they're trying to push, like this Ric Flair thing. I think we're tired of seeing that.
But you got to remember, Pete. Listen, and I respect what you're saying, 100%. Charlotte is a good in-ring performer.
She is.
She is, and there's not a lot of those women that can perform as good as she can in the ring.
And she has good mic skills, and she has good charisma, just like her father.
She does, but I think a lot of people you need where's the rival at for Charlotte? Is it Bianca Belair or is it Asuka?
Exactly.
Well, you listen, and I'll go with this, guys. We'll take it old school, right? You have Ric Flair. Okay. Right. Who was his rival back then? It was Sting.
Sting, right? And Ricky Steamboat.
Ring Big Gang and Steamboat.
Yes.
Macho Man.
You had a rival there. Stone Cold had a rival in The Rock.
Vince McMahon. Yes.
Where is Charlotte's rival? I thought it was Becky. I guess it's not. So who is it? Is it Bianca Belair?
It should have been Rhea Ripley after that great match they had at WrestleMania.
Right.
That was a great match.
Right.
Listen, that was probably one of my favorite WrestleMania matches this year because they fought tooth and nail, both of them.
Right.
And I'm sorry, I don't see any competition on Monday night for Rhea Ripley.
I don't either.
I don't know what, Curtis? The whole women's division in the WWE has been horrible since Stephanie McMahon stepped away from running it. They had their own pay-per-view at one time.
I like Nero Sky there. Sky isn't bad. She can wrestle. I really like to see her against Asuka there, Asuka.
Well, I think she'll have an opportunity because she has the Money in the Bank and no talent. Whomever wins that. Yes. You feel like whomever wins that triple threat and it looks like it's going to be a triple threat that she's going to.
It's like, hey guys, it's like Gunther. Do you really think Riddle was going to beat Gunther? Come on, man.
Yeah, come on, Mark.
And Gunther needs to get. Gunther would be a better wrestler if he got rid of those two James Bond lookalikes.
Oh well, it looks.
Oh my God!
It looks like they're about to break up with Imperium.
That's going to happen.
So, all right, Curtis. Thanks a lot for the call, my friend. As always, we appreciate you here on Turnbuckle Talk. All right.
Have a good night, Curtis.
He's
All
great,
right,
man.
good stuff, man. I love his.
yeah.
You know, his thoughts are pretty always on with us here. Let's go after the comment.
Hey, Peter, I got 2 pieces of news here real quick.
All right, give it to me.
Nick Aldis lost that match to Alex Shelley in Slammiversary for Impact. He is now going to be signing with the WWE. His contract ran out. He had a short-term contract.
Wow.
Next,
that's huge.
Trinity Fatu, formerly known as Naomi, has won the Knockouts title at Slammiversary this past weekend.
Wow. Okay, so there you go. So Nick Aldis did he beat Alex Shelley or
No,
lost?
he lost. He lost to Alex.
Alex has been a part of that company for.
Oh, him and Chris Sabin and Eddie Edwards. I can name you a bunch of these guys. Moose. They've all been part of this company for many years now.
But Shelley and Sabin have been a part of that company for at least 20 to 20. It seems like 25 years.
30
I mean,
years.
Motor City Machine Guns here on Turnbuckle Talk. Let's go out to Ben Cornette. Interesting to see what Cody does after SummerSlam. Who can we see? Who goes against Cody? Good question, Mark. Who do you put against Cody?
Well, you know, I kind of you can't really go Seth Rollins. You're not going to have 2 faces go against each other. I can see Cody. This is a long shot, but I like this. I like to see Cody against Austin Theory.
Yeah, that would be a good match. Yes. Yeah, well, Theory's supposed to drop the title at SummerSlam. That's the story I'm hearing.
Well, and here's the thing. Ever since Austin Theory got the rub there from WrestleMania when he basically went over on John Cena, let's face it, gentlemen, his run as a champion has been highly disappointing. I think that's the reason why he's dropping the title in the first place. Here's one. There's somebody on SmackDown right now getting just as hot as Cody. Yeah, that would be
Grayson Waller.
No, it's not Grayson Waller. Although, to be honest, Grayson Waller is definitely, he looks like he's getting a little push too. But
he's picking up steam.
Mark, what do you think about LA?
He could pick up steam. He was injured.
I like LA Knight, but you know what? He was getting a good push, and then the Mysterio thing slowed him down, and then he got back in it. Now I like LA Knight, and that would be a good role right there. Boy, I've been dying to see an LA Knight go against a Gunther match. That would be a good one, man.
Well, and I'm telling you right now,
LA Knight versus Austin Theory.
Yeah, that would be another.
Yeah, you could do that.
And I think that could happen.
I tell you right now, you look at the crowd's reaction for him, and he's been around for a while. He's like 40 years old, but he's still in good shape. He's great on the mic. Kevin Nash, and we talked about this, Ralph, a couple weeks now.
Yes, we did.
What do you think about Kevin Nash and him taking shots at LA Knight, saying he's copying The Rock, he's emulating Stone Cold Steve Austin? I mean, is that fair? Don't most wrestlers do that already? I mean, you had
everybody imitates somebody. I mean, come on.
Right. Mark, what do you think?
No, I think you got a point there. I mean, everybody holds on to something like Ralph said, but yeah, I think that's kind of taking some shots. But the big thing there is just not getting the push he was getting a few weeks ago, LA Knight, and that's where I'm seeing it. It's been kind of stagnant. I look at progress over regress. It's been a little more regress than progress for LA Knight lately.
Well, and for me, I think the more that Kevin Nash criticizes Knight, the more the crowd seems to
the more frustrated you get. You don't like to take criticism like that. I wouldn't take that from Kevin Nash.
Well, I think the crowd has reacted to it in the way of we're going to continue to push this guy over until WWE writers and the powers that be. All right, I tell you what, let's hold off on that. Let's go out to Mr. Ben Cornette in Las Vegas. Welcome to Turnbuckle Talk here on a Wednesday night. You're on with yours truly, along with the madman himself, former XPW announcer Mark Mancini, and of course the bodyguard of the Berg, Mr. Ralph Williams, Pittsburgh's newest radio personality.
That's
on your mind, Benny?
Peter, let me talk to you.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Is he
Oh,
not?
you stole my thunder, man. I was going to do that.
Oh,
jeez.
he did.
Is he not
Yeah.
over? Yeah. Is he idiot? Yeah. I mean, he's been over for like 10 years and you just didn't know it. I mean, his gimmick
Right.
is great. What do you think, Ben, about Kevin Nash saying what he said here the last couple of weeks, taking shots at night, saying he's emulating or he's copying The Rock and Stone Cold? Yeah.
Well, look, Peter, I mean, listen, doesn't everybody copy off of somebody, first of all?
I think we all do, don't we?
Right, yeah.
Pretty much, yes.
And Nash likes to, he's got his podcast. He likes the clicks.
Sure.
I mean, and
They all have podcasts.
he even admitted on his podcast that he only watches Raw. He wasn't a SmackDown guy. So he didn't apologize. I think in his last podcast or his last episode, he kind of apologized to LA Knight for the comments, kind of premature, But listen, I mean, you could see some of the, imitations from Stone Cold, The Rock. But, Hulk Hogan imitated superstar Billy Graham.
Thank you.
Ric Flair did that with Nature Boy Buddy Rogers.
Thank you.
Demolition did that with the Road Warriors until WWE got the Legion of Doom, the real thing, and then disbanded Demolition. So, yeah, people take from everything. That's, but Kevin Nash is Kevin Nash. If you listen to his podcast, he likes to get the clicks. That's all it is. And that's fine. So
that makes lots of sense. It makes lots of sense. All right.
If you want to stick on that thing, Rick Martel copied Mr. Perfect.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Rick Martel was another one.
Hey, I was going
Nick
to buy
Wood.
his clone.
I'm sorry.
I was going to buy his clone at Kmart. Rick Martel's.
Oh.
Remember he had that clone?
Remember that baloney cute arrogance.
Yeah, arrogance.
All right, Ben, what else?
It said it was sold at Kmart.
Yeah.
What else? In one of my comments, Peter, I mentioned you can't do Seth and Cody right now.
Yeah, let's go to that comment really quick. Only problem with Cody and Seth program again is both are baby faces, and it could actually make Cody more a heel than Seth. Rollins is too over with the crowd right now to turn him heel again. I completely agree with you on that. Completely.
He's not going.
You're not going to do a program with those guys. In fact, it looks like Seth is going to do another match with
Damian
Finn.
He's setting it up for Damian Priest.
Well, I think so too, but I think Finn Balor, there could be an interruption there because Finn and Damian Priest already have, that may be where the Judgment Day officially breaks up. And then
I agree with you, Peter. I think that's going to be the breakup.
Every time Finn Balor's on, when you drink too much water and you got to run to the bathroom and let go. That's the same thing. Every time I see Finn Balor, I got to actually push myself to the bathroom just to force myself to pee.
Not a Finn Balor fan,
man.
I like Finn Balor. I didn't,
It's just an annoying guy that just comes out and cries and. Even when he was a face, he just, he couldn't do nothing. Then he comes in with a Damon look, kind of reminded me of Kane.
Damon,
I mean, it's kind of like Kane, the good Kane. Then he comes out and it's like, come on, man. And that's the thing. Hey, listen, the only one I want to see on Judgment Day is Rhea Ripley because I think she's going to be, holding that belt for a while. These other guys, and Priest is going to get in there and run for 30 seconds and get knocked out for the championship. He ain't winning nothing. They're not going to give it to Damian Priest.
We'll see, because I definitely think he's earned his way with the matches he's had lately, especially against Bad Bunny. What else, Ben?
Well, let's give a congratulations to Dominic Mysterio for winning the North American.
Dirty Dom, there you go. North American NXT. I mean, did you watch that? I mean, the ratings were supposedly up. I don't think anybody watches NXT anymore, but the ratings were up on that.
I'll give you an interesting match, guys, down there. Now that he's there, Baron Corbin versus Dirty Dom.
Do you want to see that?
Yeah.
I don't care about. I hate Baron
I'm
Corbin.
not a Baron Corbin fan either, but that could happen.
Oh.
He's got to go back to his
in the main roster or down there.
He's got to go back to his, he was good when he was the lone wolf.
He's never good, in my opinion. I'm sorry. I'm not a Baron Corbin fan. I'm just not.
What happened to Madcap Moss? What happened?
Yeah, we haven't seen him in a while.
Well, I think they're going to change.
To Emma.
He's Pete Dunne now.
engaged to
He's
Emma.
Pete Dunne again. There you go. He did him
Yeah.
and Emma with the
You know,
dance.
guys, the interesting thing is
So
here
Pete Dunne is
is
Butch.
Kevin. Oh,
Oh,
God,
that's not bad. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn need some competition, man. It's getting stale for those guys.
They don't care about tag team wrestling there. Although I will say it looks like the Hurt Business could be in business.
Yeah, the Street Profits and Lashley, and one more.
Now
Yeah,
that would be
that's a good
interesting.
Hey, who are these other two guys imitating Bo and Blake Beverly brothers, man? The Pretty Deadly guys need to go. Who are these guys?
I don't know.
Who's Bo and who's Blake?
Wild
Hey, I'll tell you guys who's signed with the WWE. That's not cool. That's not cool.
Yeah.
Carlito.
Oh, Carlito, cool.
Carlito.
Okay. Well, I don't know how he
He's so
fits
cool.
in. I don't know how he fits. All right, Ben. Thanks a lot for the call. Anything else, my friend?
Cool.
No, I just want to say you guys are doing a great job. I'm glad I got
Thanks,
to
Ben.
and
Wow,
talk
thank you.
Yeah, I love talking to you guys, and I'll do it again sometime.
Use your second call if you want to. If it's something comes
Great
across,
man.
Tuesday afternoon, 5 p.m. on Beaver County Radio's Facebook and YouTube page.
The
My
Cornet
sports
Corner.
show.
all right, I appreciate
man.
appreciate you, Ben.
All right, take care, guys.
All right, good stuff there. Give him the Ric Flair. Love that. Let's keep on. He's got some great
Yeah, but
comments here.
that's a good thing. What's going on with the Brawling Brutes, man?
I don't know. I don't know what they're doing.
What's his
Tag
face?
team-
The one in the middle there is something's wrong with him. He got suspended or something, or he's hurt.
Listen,
Rich Holm.
tag team wrestling is just. I think it's an
Yeah.
after when it comes
Yep,
to.
it's gonna happen. Yep, exactly. Totally
Vince,
agree.
Becky is Charlotte's rival, in my opinion, but because of the real life heat, they're on separate shows. It's unfortunate, but they would be a program I like to see again. I think a lot of people would like to see that again because it is the rival, but you have to have somebody else for Charlotte, and I think it's either Bianca Belair, which she's definitely. She may turn heel. She's
going to turn heel. I think that's coming.
All right, and then WWE from reports I've heard, Nick Aldis, but only as an agent. It's ridiculous. Why would they have Aldis as an agent?
Oh, that's crazy.
I don't know. Well, you figured they had Eric Young as a producer, and then they fired him. And then he ends up on Slammiversary with Scott D'Amore against Bully Ray and Steve or whoever he had, Noon or something like that. The guy's name was.
Well, you're right.
He got hurt.
Yeah.
Guys
Who's
in the
Kevin
top
Patrick? Yeah. Who's Kevin
Oh,
Patrick's
got it.
brother on AEW, man? Who is that announcer? I can't think of his name now.
Oh, that's
Oh,
he was
God.
with ROH, Mark, and then he was
Yeah.
with WWE
think
once
of his
before he
name.
was with MLW. He's been with everybody. Kevin Kelly, I think his
Kevin
name is.
Kelly.
Kevin Kelly. Yeah.
I think
Kevin
him and Nigel
that
McGuinness are good.
Kevin
I like
that
Niles.
Patrick's
I
gotta
like
go.
Nigel McGuinness.
I like
always
him
liked him.
too. I like him too.
Yeah, he was on ROH for a long time.
They were talking about Eric Young at the point he was going to be in that Bray Wyatt storyline where he was
Yeah.
gonna be, and then they never developed it, of course. And no
No.
telling what Bray Wyatt's going to do. Okay, so
Who cares about Bray Wyatt, guys? He's just.
come
he's
on,
never-
we care about Bray Wyatt. I still think he's a talented wrestler.
I like him, and the Alpha Academy's an interesting story too with Maxine Dupree.
Well, that's what you like. That's what
Yeah.
you like, Mark. That's why you like him.
I still got my top
And you're
two in
Scarlet,
there.
too.
That my
Scarlet.
Maxine Dupree hasn't broken the top three.
Oh,
it's
God.
Scarlett, and then it's Linda Lacey Evans,
Lacey
and then,
Evans, right?
yeah, and then Charlotte Flair.
Lacey Evans.
Yep.
You want to talk about ruining a character? There you
Oh
go.
yeah, they ruined
Oh, they
that.
ruined her something awful.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah,
All right,
exactly.
let's go to the matches here, gentlemen. Ronda Rousey versus Shayna Baszler. Any care about this? Do we care about this at all?
Well, no, because Shayna Baszler is going to win the match because rumors I'm hearing is Ronda Rousey's leaving WWE for good, not coming back.
Wow, I
Any-
didn't know that.
Yeah,
Going back to MMA.
Mark, do we have any care about this match at all?
I think Ronda Rousey gets revenge on her, and then go if that's what Ralph's saying, then you go out on a
it's
on a
just
high
fun.
on the WWE.
All right, the other matches here. Tag team, undisputed tag team champions Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus the Judgment Day, Mark. I know your favorite. Damian Priest and Dirty Dom Dominic Mysterio. Any interest in this match?
really.
No way in hell is the Judgment taking this. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are going to hold the belts till WrestleMania.
I agree with you. Ralph, same thing?
Yeah, I agree with Mark.
Okay. All right. It's good stuff here. Let's go on to the Intercontinental Championship. Gunther versus Drew McIntyre.
I'm taking Drew.
Yeah.
I think it's time now.
I think it's time for Drew too.
They have to
Although
bring him back into the fold. He carried the load as a champion, and I think that he can carry with a belt. I really do. The creative has screwed him up too.
and I agree they have screwed him up, but I still believe they're going to keep the belt on Gunther for some reason. I don't know why. I think they're going to keep the belt on him, but yeah, you never know. They may go with Drew here.
I think anybody that comes back after they've been gone a while gets redemption on that belt. So I think he's going to pull it. The only way he'd keep it is if, the Thunderbirds or the James Bond lookalikes come in and kind of play a distraction with the referees.
Just shut up and be quiet. Let me go out to the Women's World Championship. Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Rodriguez.
Oh,
you looking
gosh.
forward to this?
Oh, no.
I hate to say it, Rhea Ripley. I like Raquel, but I can't stand Rhea. But I got to be honest.
I hope they build this up into a match because both the ladies are, they're powerhouses.
They are.
Yes. Be very entertaining. I hope it's a long match, and I hope it's compelling. I really do because they deserve it.
I think I got to go with Rhea and Raquel's. That's a lot of women there. You might have to, if you're dating her, you're gonna have to bring a 6-foot ladder with you too.
Mark, that's Scarlett there, my friend. She'll definitely tear you apart. Now, of course, Rodriguez and Liv Morgan lost the women's tag team titles to Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green, which they were on the first Tough Enough, which I didn't. They were on one of the first Tough Enoughs there, so it's like 8 or 10 years in the making. What do we think about that, gentlemen? Does that move the needle a little bit? Sonya Deville, Chelsea Green.
I love Sonya Deville. I've always liked Sonya Deville. And I think she finally got with. No, she's a good, she's a good wrestler. I like her whole thing. And I think these guys might keep the tag champs for a while. They might be the tag. I mean, they got a little swagger to them and everything. They come out. But Deville's paid. Hey, she's paid her dues, man. She really has. And I'm glad to see her on top right now.
Ralph?
See, they have to do something with Chelsea Green. They brought her back. They promised her a bunch of stuff. Her husband is Matt Cardona, formerly known as Zack Ryder. So he was supposed to come with her to the WWE. He's staying behind because he doesn't trust the WWE and their creative. And that's why he stayed away. But his wife ended up going there, Chelsea Green, and they make promises to these people, and then they end up screwing them up. So it's time for Chelsea Green for something like this.
Yeah.
All right. It looks like it's going to be Austin Theory versus LA Knight or Santos Escobar. It has to be LA Knight versus Austin Theory.
Yes, it does. If it's Santos Escobar, forget it.
It's got to be LA Knight goes over in this match over Austin Theory.
Yeah.
Oh, I definitely think so. I like LA Knight.
This is the time now for LA Knight.
Yep. Where you give him the prestige, you give him the belt, and you let him roll with it, and he'll hold it after, till WrestleMania 2. They'll build up something there, but I like this. LA Knight's got that swag, just comes out and
let me talk to you.
Let me talk to you. Yep. All right. Let me go out to Christopher Cole here. This is something cool. I need to remember to watch SummerSlam on August 5th because I finally got Peacock. Congratulations.
Ooh, yeah.
They went up $1, but it's like $5.99. I mean, you can't beat it. Like, it's got great programming.
What did he? I mean, come on. What did he do? Break his piggy bank? $5.99. He doesn't have. I mean,
Christopher Cole is amazing. He just doesn't. He's a guy that watches all sports, and wrestling becomes. Now we're getting him into Turnbuckle Talk. He wants to watch
it.
Guys, I'm so poor. Dollar Tree sent me a sympathy card.
All right, what do we think about CM Punk and Ricky Starks there at the Owen Hart Cup as being? I was surprised that Ricky Starks won.
I was too.
Owen Hart Cup winner there, and it looks like Starks.
I was surprised Willow Nightingale beat Ruby Soho. I was shocked on that one.
I mean, good booking in your opinion here, Mark, with CM Punk coming back. Shouldn't they have made him the winner over Ricky Starks?
That's what I thought. It shocked me. I mean, how can you not give it to him? But Starks getting it, I couldn't believe it, and I like CM Punk. I would think you'd give it to the guy coming back, but obviously they have other plans.
All right. It looks like Vicky Guerrero is officially done with AEW.
Oh my
Excuse
God.
me. I mean, she's gone.
Oh,
She's done. Yeah.
Please, she can be done.
Yeah, I agree. And then Vince Russo had this to say about AEW to finish this off. He said, I watched AEW the first year and a half, and it was massive, massive waste of my time. And I basically said, when I turned 60, I'm not watching this anymore. This is a total waste of my time. At 60 years old, I'm closer to the end in the beginning. My time is very valuable, and this is just not worthy of my time. You know, consequently, I think a lot of people would say the same thing about Vince when he was writing for WCW in 99 and 2000. A complete waste of time, although there are some good moments there. But Vince Russo,
who do you take? Who do you take on the 29th? MJF, Adam Cole versus FTR.
I think it's got to be FTR. They're the best team right now, and I think in all professional wrestling. Furthermore, I feel like they're setting this up where MJF turns on Adam Cole, which
he's going to do it. It looked like it tonight.
That's coming.
Yeah, and it's just so it's going to happen. They're not going to win the tag teams. And
is Jericho going to go with Gallus?
I think he is. I think he will. I don't know why. I mean, they keep on showing it. Maybe they're hyping it up too much where he's
needs to get his career back up. He's been playing around with this club and all this other stuff.
What the hell is he wearing tonight? I mean, I know he's trying to look like a rock star, but it looked like he was wearing high heels. I mean,
well, he is. He's the lead singer for Fosse.
Oh, so. Not Fozzy, yeah, but he was wearing high heels. I mean, I don't know.
He plays in a local bar here.
Okay, well, there you go. Mark, what do you think? FTR and MJF and Adam Cole?
I'm going with FTR.
Okay.
I do.
Yeah, so am I.
All right.
I don't trust MJF.
Final question, Vince Russo. What's his legacy in wrestling?
When he worked with Vince McMahon in the WWE, when he worked by himself, he was horrible because he didn't have Vince to fall back on, and then everything else was a joke.
Mark?
Yeah, that pretty much sums it up. You took the thunder, Ralph, because without Vince, you saw what the place looked like.
You look like a blind man in a silent movie theater.
I'm telling you right now, there was a conspiracy theory that said the reason why Vince signed with WCW and the reason why Bret Hart signed with WCW at the time is because Vince actually sent both of those two over there to ruin WCW.
That's a conspiracy theory still.
How plausible do we think that is? Especially Vince. I mean, some of the matches that you had David Arquette. Love David Arquette as an actor, and I think he's trying to be a wrestler, and it's an amazing story about him. But they put the heavyweight title on freaking David Arquette. That was a Vince.
Yeah,
Russo
how stupid
decision.
was that? I mean,
David
really.
Arquette.
David Arquette. Wasn't he the one? Who was he married to, too?
Oh, Courtney Cox.
Yep, Courtney Cox. Yeah. That's it.
I mean, the guy tried. He had a great documentary, and I got to watch it. I mean, he wanted to be a wrestler, but goodness gracious, you put the title on. I mean, it was so controversial at the time. All right, Ralph, go ahead and promote yourself here on the evolution of Sports Talk Television, my friend.
Yes, I'm on Beaver County Radio every Tuesday along with Smoking Jim Frazier. We have our show called Sports Corner. This coming Tuesday, we're having a football summit. I have someone from Penn State, someone from West Virginia, and someone from Pitt coming on to talk about the football season, which is upcoming. Training camps are starting for college football. It is AM 1230, AM 1460, 99.3 FM in Western Pennsylvania. We're live on their Beaver County Radio's Facebook page and on my YouTube channel. You can catch the archive version, and I'm also live on their Facebook page as well, Beaver County Radio, along with Smoking Jim Frazier, Ralph Williams 737 at gmail.com, Facebook. I have a YouTube channel as well, and I'm up to 108. I'd like to get to probably 120 by the end of the year for subscribers, and I'm also on LinkedIn and Twitter.
Good stuff there, Mr. Ralph Williams. Thanks a lot for your time here on the Evolution of Sports.
Good man,
my friend. All right. Good stuff there. Let me go out to the madman himself, former XPW announcer, Mark Mancini. Go ahead and promote yourself.
Well, XM 203, Sirius 217, WWDB AM 860 out of Philadelphia, Pittsburgh Pirate Podcast with Derek Brock, San Francisco Giant Podcast with Alex Berg, and a host of these others. No One Touches Wednesdays with you, my friend, as we start to stream some wrestlers in here down the line, my buddy.
Yes, so we definitely need to have wrestling guests.
Yeah, we get those guys coming through.
you've got some friends. We may have some friends, some mutual friends. So we'll see if we can get them on here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Once again,
I love
Mark,
your show. I love your mom. I love you guys. I love your friends. Everything, baby.
yeah, man. Thanks a lot for the time, Madman Mark
See
Man.
you next Wednesday with Mr. Belvedere.
There you go, Mr. Get out of here, Mr. Belvedere. All right, guys, that's it for the night here. Thanks a lot to all the guests, as always. So many to name. Of course, former NBA player Trent Tucker, Larry Bumgarner, counselor of Hope Counseling. Of course, you've got Harry the Greek, Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy, Leo Haggerty, Ken Podleak. You've got Mr. Mark Mancini, and of course, the bodyguard of the Berg, Ralph Williams. And thanks to all the callers, even Mr. Williams, you made my night. Like and subscribe to the Sports Web on YouTube. Like I Love St. Pete, the Hub, and Amped Up Sports. And do 3 things for me on this happy hump day edition of the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake, your Rolex reporter. What time is it? It's my time. And for fans of the Sports Web and, of course, Tampa Bay sports fans out there, go Rays. It's your time. Have a great night. Are you an athlete or professional struggling with life or career transition? Life isn't always easy, but hope is always present. Best Hope Counseling will help you move forward. For nearly a decade, licensed marriage and family therapist Larry Bumgarner has helped clients empower change and discover solutions using a solution-focused therapy approach. Conversations will focus on what you desire to change, not just the problems that brought you into counseling. From anger to depression or other emotions, Best Hope Counseling is there for you. Contact Larry personally on his direct line at 727-946-1346. Again, 727-946-1346 for a telehealth appointment in Florida and Minnesota, or in person an appointment in Minnesota. Take time out and begin your game plan to reconnect, rebuild, and restore happiness in your life. BestHopeCounseling.com.